Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm one of your hosts, Mark. We got an exciting episode today, man. I have been daydreaming about Angron and the World Eaters for like the past month. Oh, they're so excellent. Joining me, we got two people. We got Christofferson. Yo, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, Tig. You've always been a World Eaters fan too, hey?
Always, yeah. I was a little baby boy.
Ever since your first act of violence. Yeah. And we got a new friend here, Toasty. Welcome.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here. I will say, when you sent over the notes and it said Chris, I was like, who is Chris? The entire time. And then I was like, as soon as a Christian came in, I went, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's I just realized I'm busy tonight, guys. Sorry.
Like, oh, yeah, sorry. I'll reschedule for next time.
Yeah. But you've been on Grimoire, so you might be a familiar voice to some people in our circles and stuff. But yeah, you're a huge World Eaters fan too. So when we were doing this, people kept recommending you. So yeah, you got T-shirts, you got
the nails let me dream. Yeah, I got helmets. I'm here for it, man.
He's here for it.
I came prepared. I should have brought my Angrons down in Karn.
I like how that's plural. Anyone that owns more than one Angron is a
you got to have 30K and 40K, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have
gladiator version.
Maybe a couple more just in case.
Yeah, man. You can never have too many. Honestly, I've just been looking at Angron models for like the last so long. Just like, do I buy it? That Canadian dollar is pretty weak right now. I probably shouldn't buy it.
Gotta wait a little bit, see if it pops back up.
Yeah. But yeah, we got a fun episode before we get into it. Some quick housekeeping. Come join the Discord. If you need a link, there's links in the show notes and all that kind of stuff. We hang out there. We tell each other jokes and stuff. I don't know. It's just Discord. Come hang out.
And as always, you can always join the Patreon and the Imperial or Blood Tithe, depending on what episode it is. And you can help support the show. You can just an ad-free of the version for $2.50, video version for $5. And on today's special episode, if you give a blood donation, I don't know, we'll figure something out. But
skulls will fly down to Panama.
Yeah. It's true.
And if you want to be on live stream, it's a Patreon access, live chat room going on, and you can be a call-in guest at the end of the episode.
Yeah, we already are getting some messages here. Damn, man, did you guys bring in an actual space marine? Yeah, Toasty's fucking yoked, I'll tell you that much.
I'm a little guy. I'm just a little fella.
He's a little for a space marine.
Yeah, like one of them dwarf ones.
Cool. Well, World Eaters. The outline for today, we're kind of going to get into it. We're going to learn all about the War Hounds, their original name before they got the cooler name of the World Eaters. They were around kicking about for a long time before Angron came around and kind of came to be what we know and love. And then we'll talk about their appearance, their gene seed, their home worlds. They have a couple, their recruitment combat doctrine, their martial traditions, man. They have so many different things, from wrapping chains around your arms to taking people's heads. But it's all fun and games, you know. It's all traditional. I don't know, but yeah, we're gonna get into that, their organization, and finally some war gear. If you don't got a chain axe, you ain't welcome. I think is kind of the rule of thumb.
I lucked out on that one then.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to make a homemade one with a weed whacker and a machete, but it's fine.
Still gets the job done.
It gets the job done.
Might take a couple extra blows, but
if you hold it still long enough, they'll stay down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode. Let's get into it. It's a long one, but well worth every bloody detail.
Worth every penny and every blood drop. All right, let's get into 30K era Legion. The World Eaters, first raised as the War Hounds, were the 12th Legion of the Emperor's original 20 Space Marine legions. Their Primarch was Angron, remembered as the Lord of the Red Sands and the Red Angel, a figure as feared as he was pitied. Among the earliest to break faith during the Horus Heresy, the Legion was already infamous for its merciless excellence in war, an edge honed further by the brutal psychosurgical implants known as the Butcher's Nails, endured by much of its brotherhood. What followed was not sudden madness, but a slow and sorrowful collapse, as discipline gave way to unending fury, and the legion was drawn ever deeper into a creed of slaughter and unrelenting bloodshed. In time, their loyalty curdled into devotion to Khorne alone. After the ruinous battle of Scalathrax, the legion shattered into roaming war bands, rarely standing united again. Even beside the Space Wolves, the World Eaters were counted among the most lethal close combat specialists ever to take the field, their ranks heavy with warriors whose skill, endurance, and wrath made them living weapons in the press of the load.
Yeah, very cool. So we learned a lot about them just doing the Angron episodes. And a couple things to always remember is the Butcher's Nails. They really shaped the Legion who they are. They shaped Angron. It really unifies them, you know, gives them all a common unifying goal and purpose and mindset, really. So that's nice.
I was actually going to ask about that. Maybe our resident World Eater might have an answer. But did they all take on the Butcher's Nails, or just like a vast majority? Like, is there always like one or two guys in there that are like, you know what, that's not for me? And
by the siege, I believe they had called anybody in their ranks who wasn't wearing Butcher's Nails.
Okay. But there was a time then, because it's even up to the siege. That's quite a while, right? 7 years, 9 years.
Yeah, so I'd say they probably wiped most of them on Istvan.
Yeah, I would guess. Yeah,
would be the big one.
That would be the place to do it for sure.
But from my understanding, yeah, everybody after that, because even in 40K books, there's people seeking out the World Eaters to become World Eaters. A story about a Blood Angel successor chapter where this guy left it because he was like, I'm not going to get beat for my sins. I'll go here where, you know, me being able to fight means something. And he followed this World Eater and ended up getting Butcher's Nails implanted by the end of the book.
Cool.
So they're still doing it. Like, they have semi sane apothecaries, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like another gene seed implantation that they do. You could almost count it as that, because it's like, here's your gene seed, here's your Butcher's Nails. Like, it's going to give you a second heart and some nails in your brain.
That's right. Like you said, it's that uniting factor.
Yeah, man.
But
before they were the World Eaters we know, they were the War Hounds.
Yeah. Which the 12th Legion was raised upon Terra itself, drawn from no single land or people. What records survive hint that the earliest induction was shaped by an untested and severe selection process, one that favored the most violent, driven, and relentlessly competitive aspirants. Though never formally confirmed, the Legion's earliest chronicles already speak of a force marked by ferocity, iron resolve, and an instinctive hunger for battle. It is funny, just a side note, in a lot of the books it seems like they give them like an Eastern European Russian accent. Like, a lot of them came from that area, from Terra, because that's Karn's usual accent in most books. And
something that sounds like Slavic almost.
Yeah. Which is the family I married into. So I'm just
so you know firsthand.
Yeah. Still young and few in number, the Legion first tasted war during the Sa-Afric Liberation and the Unification Wars. After these opening actions, however, they were withdrawn and held in reserve for much of Terra's. Sorry about that. Classification.
The worldies are breaking into the podcast.
Through the conquest of the soul system itself. The truth behind this restraint remains obscured. Some believe they were preserved as a final, unspent blade, ready to be hurled into any crisis that might imperil the Emperor's designs. Others whisper that they were kept leashed, a brutal safeguard should treachery arise within the Emperor's own hosts. Yet, even in waiting, the Legion did not soften. They trained without mercy, sharpening themselves for a war they were denied. And when unleashed in rare engagements, their savagery and unyielding, reading is hard, Discipline left a lasting impression. It was during this era that the emperor himself is said to have named them his War Hounds. The Legion embraced the title with grim pride, taking the red hound as their sigil, a symbol of loyalty without question and violence without restraint, which I believe there's hints of them fighting Thunder Warriors during the Unification Wars. So they were part of the Terrans that helped take care of that group.
Yeah,
those rowdy guys.
These guys seem like just the exact warriors you would need. Like they're brutal, they're disciplined, they enjoy fighting. Like there's some legions that don't necessarily enjoy it. They do it out of duty or responsibility, like the Imperial Fists, you know. But like there's a couple quotes where they just describe the War Hounds as like the Emperor's perfect warriors, almost. Like they're not his perfect sons, but perfect warriors. And then we kind of get into the Great Crusade. They kind of have shown themselves to be pretty aggressive. So the War Hounds were at last loosed as a full legion, not by design, but by necessity. The imperial colony of Cerberus erupted into open rebellion, and it soon became clear that only the hand of Astartes could end it. With the Great Crusade already underway, the majority of Space Marine legions had been dispersed amongst distant expeditionary fleets, far beyond immediate recall. In response, the Emperor turned to the War Hounds, unleashing them in person and charging them to deliver the judgment upon those who had dared defy his rule. The invasion of Cerberus commenced at 0300 hours Terran Standard. By 0808, the War Hound commander transmitted the all clear. When queried as to the number of prisoners awaiting processing, his reply was stark and unwavering. No such order had been given. Imperial army units that followed in the Legion's wake reported scenes of appalling slaughter, evidence of absolute methodical annihilation, with casualties strewn across both loyalist and rebel ranks alike. It was a grim lesson, but a clear one. The War Hounds had obeyed their orders to the letter, and nothing had been allowed to stand between them and the Emperor's will. Yeah, like we hear often, we've mentioned Space Wolves before in this episode already, but we hear often that the Space Wolves are like the Emperor's executioners and you'd send them after them. But man, the Space Wolves are too, like, independent, too headstrong. They're too into their own thing. Like, yeah, they're loyal, but like the World Eaters to the letter. They're like, you said destroy that planet. We fucking destroyed that planet. Like, it's gone.
Yeah, the way they're described in one of the books is they walk in a phalanx with shield and spear and walk down, and nothing could stand in their way. They would drive down any enemy that stood before them.
I love even how like they describe their armor. They have those triangle studs, bonding studs on them, where even like a shoulder nudge is now ripping open enemies. You know, you're moving your legs forward, and that's tearing through enemy lines. Like, and you're not even trying to. It's all just that like unstoppable adamantium wall.
Yeah, it's also interesting the parallel between the Legion before Angron, because Angron arguably was probably gonna fall with or without chaos. Like the situation was already very messed up for him with the butcher's nails, and then the whole like already doubting the emperor from the get-go with how he was abducted. But the Legion itself was like ultra loyal. So to see them kind of be matched up with this Primarch who's already teetering on chaos is interesting.
The vibe it gives you is they were going to be loyal to whoever their leader was supposed to be. And when Angron came, they were like, this is Dad. No matter what's wrong with Dad,
this is Dad.
We're going to be here. Yeah, it's like your mom going and getting your dad out of prison that you never met. And you're like, oh, I guess this is us now.
Better than my not father I have at home. So
yeah, better than the dad who left for milk.
Fuck.
At least he's here, guys.
Now put these in your skull. Yeah.
I'm gonna start shoving these in your guys' head until you're like.
But
me.
To be fair, it is that desperate loyalty that even makes these world leaders do that to begin with. So yeah, you're right. Like that desire to affirm their relationship with their leader and their father figure, they butcher themselves Like that's how far it goes for them.
Baby boys.
All right. The Bloody 13th. As the Great Crusade ground onward, the 12th Legion was broken apart into several autonomous commands, each numbering many thousands of Space Marines. In theory, these forces existed as strategic reserves to reinforce other Crusade armies, yet in practice, they were repeatedly hurled into the hardest fighting. Side by side with brother legions such as the First, the Iron Warriors, and the Space Wolves, the War Hounds were committed to spearhead assault troops, trusted to break enemies when resistance was fiercest. In other war zones, they were unleashed to stiffen Imperial army formations, lending a ruthless cutting edge where compliance would not otherwise be achieved. From these actions, the War Hounds earned a grim reputation across the Crusade. They were spoken of as merciless shock troops, whose victories were never gentle and never cheap. It was said that the War Hounds' deployment ended in only two ways: triumphant, victorious slaughter, or simply slaughter. Darker rumors followed in their wake, whispering that the Legion showed little distinction between ally and enemy once unleashed. Tales spread of human regiments culled for weakness or failure in battle. Whether these stories were truth or exaggeration was difficult to determine, for the War Hounds deliberately kept themselves apart from other legions Astartes whenever possible. What could not be denied was the Legion's brutally enforced internal discipline, a necessity born of their own volatile and combative nature. The greatest concentration of War Hounds' strength, some 8,000 legionaries, was eventually gathered into the 13th Expeditionary Fleet, complete with its own fleet of support arms. As the Crusade advanced and the growing legions no longer required a standing reinforcement pool, the scattered War Hounds detachments were recalled and consolidated to their muster world of Bot. Alongside them were assembled other Imperial forces whose reputations for violence were similarly bleak. Feral world levies, abhuman cohorts, the Titans of Legio Audax, and the feared warriors of the Numan gun clans. Each bore a record marked by devastation and suspicion. It is widely believed that the concentration was no accident, but a deliberate act of the War Council to bind together those Imperial forces best suited for wars of utter destruction, to be unleashed when nothing short of annihilation would suffice. The collective history of bloodshed that flowed earned the formation a name spoken with equal parts fear and necessity throughout the Imperium, the Bloody 13th.
That's such a sweet name. Yeah, wherever they go, it just say leave ruin. I like that line where it's like, either it's a triumphant victory or a slaughter. Like, isn't that kind of the same for them? But yeah, they just go in and they make a mess of everything. I like that they kind of pit them with other legion or other like feral guardsmen and stuff. Like, the galaxy is not a civilized place, so you try to lump these yahoos together and you just send them at the hardest targets. Learned a little bit about the homeworld, or a muster point of Bot. We're going to get into that a little bit later too. That's an interesting little plot place. Has the Numan gun clans on it. We'll jump now in the history a little bit. It's best to just go listen to the Angron episodes, and at this point they've kind of earned their reputation as the Bloody 13th, and then they find Angron. So now you could I'm just going to recap those episodes so we can carry on to other things. But so the Angel of Wrath arrives, and Angron was no savior to his legion, but a living embodiment of their fate. To the World Eaters, he was wrath given flesh, a Primarch who valued brotherhood and shared suffering above all Imperial ideals. They followed him not out of reverence, but because he bled as they did. Transformation. The 13th Legion's transformation was not sudden, but a grinding and cruel. Discipline, honor, and unity were slowly stripped away and reforged into something harsher and narrower. What remained was loyalty inward and a purpose defined only by war. Yeah, we briefly touched even on this episode of them rooting out people who didn't have the butcher's nails. Like, this is kind of part of eventually what happens where, yeah, they just slowly transform into something darker. They changed their name to the Eater of Worlds. It wasn't a metaphor, but an intent. They were unleashed to break worlds utterly and leave nothing capable of resisting the Imperium's will. Each compliance carved another scar into Legion's soul. They just were sent after crazy spots. And when they failed, Angron had some decimation, just like the Iron Warriors did. So decimation was not punishment to the World Eaters. It was proof of resolve. Weakness was paid for in blood, often by brothers' hands, and remembered without regret. Survival itself became a mark of worth. And even like they have gladiatorial pits that they carry on through, and those are bloody affairs too. They're not just training pits. Like they prove themselves through blood, through war. That's how they see it. And then the Horus heresy happens, and as we mentioned, it didn't take much to tip Angron to Horus's side. He was pretty much already there even before Horus was. He was betrayed by the Emperor, or so he thought, and he never let that go. And as soon as the opportunity to rebel came, he took it. So when the heresy came, the World Eaters did not debate loyalty to ideas or thrones. They followed their brothers and their Primarch. Bound by blood and shared damnation, the galaxy burned and they burned with it. And at Istvan III, the battle was not a battle to the World Eaters, but a wound that never closed. Brother slaughtered brother in fire and betrayal, and the Legion bled itself nearly dry. Those who survived were forever changed. And this is, when they're really just like bleed, or they're fighting their own Legion at this point. Angron drops onto this planet at one point. It's the craziest battle.
Fun fact about that was they were like, we'll just kill them all from orbit. And Angron was like, nope.
Nah.
He was like, I'm going in. And I think that's where he actually got injured by a World Eater. It was a War Hound who I think it was on his phone. I wish I remember the guy's name. I'd have to look it up. But somebody got him across the neck. Because as he's laying there dying, he's like, that was me. And Angron didn't even realize it. And he touches his neck and he's like, so it was.
Good job.
And he like closes his eyes and everything. Like he lets him die peacefully. It's such a, it's an Angron thing you wouldn't see coming. Where you're like, when you kill your son, you gotta give him his props as he's dying. Like,
yeah. That I love that book. Like that little kind of battling series where you get the kind of loyalist elements just hunkered down, and they know they're fucked, and they're fighting to the last one, and like they're holding out really good, and they're holding out against like Angron and stuff, and they finally only really lose because of an internal betrayal. Like they would have lost eventually, but they were bleeding the traitor legions at this battle.
The best part of the whole Isfahan thing was Saul Tarvitz. That was Isfahan 4 or 5 though, right? Where they did no, he was on 3.
Yeah, it was 3.
Yeah.
3 is like where they fight inward of the legions,
people,
and then 5 is where they trap the loyalist legions.
Saul Tarvitz being like, Space Marines are said to know no fear, but when Angron charged, Saul Tarvitz knew fear.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And after that, it's just mindless slaughter for them, really. Like they go and they just go anywhere. The World Eaters are unleashed, and the rage is drowned in grief, and violence became the only language left to them. Each kill pushed them further from what they once were, and each nail driven into the head drove them even more mad and more violent. So they're just kind of unleashed at the galaxy. Like there's a couple times where Horus like, all right, everyone, meet at the mustard point, and the World Eaters aren't doing that shit. They got their own dream.
As they had the word bearers with them, and he made the word bearers stop at like every planet they came across where he could attack people. Angron was like, we're stopping here. And Lorgar's just like, all right, whatever.
Like, the kid picking up candy. He's like, I'm picking up everyone. And,
ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
Enjoying it. And then they finally make their way to the siege of Terra eventually. And at Terra, the World Eaters stood at the edge of everything they had lost. They hurled themselves against the walls, not for victory, but because war was all that remained. If the Imperium was to end, they would end it themselves upon it. There's like this like suicidal streak in them almost too, where that's the fun thing about Khorne. He doesn't care where the blood flows. So you can be like that ultimate nihilist, and you don't necessarily have to worry about your survival, because even if somebody takes your skull, that's a good day for Khorne.
Well, they'll have blood one way or another.
They will. So that's kind of the quick little recap. Like I said, if you really want more details on that whole big time period, go listen to the 2 previous Angron episodes. But we'll jump to the end of Terra and kind of back into the story of what we don't really know happened with them. So post-heresy, see what happens.
In the aftermath of Terra, the hosts of chaos were driven back, and the World Eaters cut a bloody path toward the Eye of Terror. Beside their traitor kin in the retreat, Wow, I read that as a terrible sentence. In the retreat, great swaths of the legion were torn from Angron's shadow, many falling under the command of the former devourer Gogor. Cut off from the supply and replacement, their warships crippled and bleeding. Discipline was maintained only through violence. Deprived and hunted evermore, warriors were wholly consumed by the butcher's nails. Some were chained and caged like beasts. Those were the red butchers, as a fun fact, to be loosed only when slaughter was required. Others were put down by their own brothers or entombed alive within dreadnought sarcophagi. With Karn slain or grievously broken, the legion was left leaderless, and its once unbreakable brotherhood collapsed as captains and warlords fought one another for the right to command. Yeah, Red Butchers are some of my favorite units, and they need to bring these guys back into the tabletop. Just so I can buy 30 of them.
What's their like official color scheme? Like I see them painted like this one, but then I see the art like this.
That's the official, I believe. The red and white, because they're. I mean, even like we'll get into them later. I think they're the destroyers. They're always black, and I mean that even like other legions have that same thing. But I painted up some of these guys. And I did it in the white and blue, and I had a little bit of red. They're the way they wrote them off was saying, "Oh, these guys became berserkers," and I'm like, "Okay, but berserkers run regular armor, not giant cataphracti armor. So let's give me my cataphracti back." And as far as the Karn being slain or grievously broken, if you read the book, I want to say it's called Karn. But he's basically John Wick in that book. It's absolutely phenomenal.
He killed his hound of corn.
No.
Yeah, basically.
No. Fuck.
They came to kill him, and then he wakes up and he slaughters like 3 people in the blink of an eye, and puts Gogor in his place. I believe. I think it's Gogor. I don't know. Read it. My memory is terrible.
Go read the book yourself.
What happened in that book at all?
There's a whole bunch of stuff that happened in certain places. And it ends with Scalathrax. But with that being said, these tensions finally erupted during the Legion Wars in the frozen hell of Scalathrax, where the World Eaters faced a far larger force of the Emperor's children. As Legion faltered in indecision, Karn rose at the last from his wounds and drove them into battle. The fighting devolved into grinding butchery amid the ice until the night of madness, when Karn turned his blades upon his own brothers at the moment of near victory. That night shattered the World Eaters forever. The Legion broke apart into warring bands, and in 10 millennia since, its scattered remnants have known only endless war. Loyal only to the memory of brotherhood they destroyed with their own hands. With that whole book, the ending is wild because it's Emperor's children, knights. They have like an actual legion's worth of fucking people on this planet. And it's just like, oh, here's this war band of World Eaters fighting off all of them.
All of them. And like the World Eaters have never been like a big legion. Like they take high casualties, and like they're not necessarily the most like logistically organized to make you.
Well, yeah, especially after the nails.
Yeah, like
they
yeah,
lost.
like you said, even despite that, they like just hold so much more weight than any other starters, it seems.
Allegedly, one World Eater even punched through a Custodes' breastplate.
Hell yeah, he did.
Fine. Whether or not that's canon, though, is a whole other question.
100% canon. I don't care.
Reading that made me have the butcher's nails. Like you're just like, oh, what are they doing? But okay,
that dude. Anything that involves Karn in books is always immaculate.
Yeah,
that one wasn't even Karn. That was
yeah, that was somebody else. It's not that
World Eater. I wouldn't know. It's been a while since I read that book.
Yeah, the Battle of Scalathrax, that's been in the lore for like a long time. Like this is like a key defining piece of World Eater lore where it breaks the Legion down. Like lots of other legions are still whole, even the traitor legions. But this they broke down and they never really recovered.
They do
Now you
recover anytime Angron enters real space now.
Yeah,
Everybody
which is
shows
fucking
up.
sweet because it happens a lot that he comes around.
Every time he shows up, they're all like, Dad's home. Except Karn,
Dad's
actually.
home.
Karn's the only one who's not excited about Dad anymore, sadly.
Sadly. It's his quest to mend his relationship with his father.
If you could put Karn and Angron on the same planet, like, come on. Karn would end up dying because Angron's known for destroying entire planets.
Karn's just like, Gore father's my new daddy. He's like just talking to his chain axe dad.
He is Gore child, doesn't he? How dare you?
Oh, goddamn shit.
Gore father's fought over by the rest of them, I believe.
Karn is like he relates to Gorechild because he's also an abandoned child.
He's also an abandoned child. That's why he wanted that one. He was like, "That's Gorechild. It's me.
He's me. It's me."
I actually
Tossed
have
aside by their father.
A thing of Karn on the wall. My cousin got it for me for my birthday, and my wife was like, "That's not going in the office." I was like, "Okay." And then I got really drunk, and it went in the office.
Now here we are.
Right, let's talk a little bit about what the World Eaters look like. The World Eaters lived for one purpose above all others: decisive, merciless war. Even when they ritually cleaned and sanctified their arms after battle, as any disciplined legion would, those tools who soon marked again by the cost of conquest within mere solar minutes. Before Angron's legion turned on their kin at the Isfahan 5 drop site massacre, his warriors wore stark white and deep blue. In theory, the manner in which they forced worlds into imperial compliance during the Great Crusade was so direct and uncompromising that their armor was rarely clean, a truth noted by their brother legions, who understood that the War Hounds were loyal first and last to one another, bound by oath and brotherhood. So yeah, they're typically white armored with blue pauldrons, but they are often depicted as so covered in gore that the white really is hard to see underneath all that blood.
I think Lorgar even says it to Angron about his own armor. He's like, "You should just paint that red."
And then an idea clicked.
Not me, but the kids.
Yeah, it speaks to how they use their war gear too. That's pretty different than other legions. Like we mentioned, Gore Child and Gore Father. Like those are really the only two weapons that have any like home in the legion. Every other weapon is more of a tool that can be disposed of. Like they'll use it till that chain axe breaks. They're not too attached to it. Same with their power armor. Like they'll use it, and then all of a sudden that one arm's broken. They're taking that arm off, like the armor off. They don't treat their war gear the best for sure. They ain't WD-40ing it at the end of battle and maintaining it.
Arguably, that is the way to use your weapons. Is what they're for.
No. This sword has been passed down from my gene father, from his gene father to his.
Well, none of you obviously used it very often, so
they still have serfs that paint their armor. They
with
someone's in a 40K book where they're like
trails,
accidentally kicking over a bucket of white paint that was in the way.
Yeah, the paint pots of the World Eaters are just human skulls of the living still. Just dip in there, get some nice red paint. Good to go.
The best part would be, wouldn't they be a brown legion then?
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of colors, first is the War Hounds, and later is the World Eaters. The 12th Legion bore white power armor marked with blue upon the shoulder plates and elements of the power pack. Their war gear was frequently altered with heavy spikes set into the pauldrons, meant not only to inspire dread, but to turn every collision and close quarters press into an act of violence. Which is funny, because I do know there was dudes with boarding shields. I think, once again, Delvaris. But a helm of brass marked a warrior as a veteran, earned through survival and service to the Legion alone. When the World Eaters finally surrendered to their fury and the pool of the blood god, their white and blue was drowned beneath red and brass, the colors of corn. Yet even then, fragments of their old heraldry endured stubbornly, retained upon individual plates, a final loyalty to what they once were. And I know some of the traders still paint their armor in the old colors because like I said, they all come together in different 40K books where Angron shows up, and some of the ships will show up still white and blue, and the warriors who come off those ships will be in their old heraldries.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody runs the War Hound symbol anymore, though.
No, that they get rid of that. They kind of find that offensive a little bit. I think we get into that a bit here in this part, but they don't like being called dogs. Essentially, who would have thought?
Even though Angron referred to himself as one at one point.
That's why it hurts so much, because there's that hint of truth.
Also, when you call him a bitch,
He doesn't like that either.
It didn't tend to end well.
It's cool. Their colors are just inverted, like from the War Hounds to the World Eaters. Like it's the blue armor with the white shoulder pads, and then they flip it. I never noticed that before. I feel like the War Hounds, they've always been around. Like a lot of these legions, we've recently found out their pre-legion name. But the War Hounds have always kind of been in the lore. And then, yeah, it's kind of cool seeing them fleshed out a little bit more. But yeah, you get that inverted color scheme here. So the badge. As the War Hounds Legion, the original badge of the 13th Legion depicted a great red hound rampant upon a field of white. It echoed the name given to them by the Emperor himself, who likened the Legion to the white War Hounds once loosed by the Yakish warriors on ancient northern Terra, obedient, relentless, and bound to their masters and pack. Following their reunion with the Primarch Angron and their rebirth as the World Eaters, the Legion adopted a new sigil, a vast red-fanged maw descending upon a life-bearing world, set against the field of dark blue. It was a mark of unity under Angron, a symbol understood by every Legionnaire as their shared fate and purpose. In hindsight, the image was tragically prescient, yeah, okay. The devouring maw embodied not only the Legion's name, but the uncompromising and methodical violence they unleashed upon those who refused compliance with the imperial truth and resisted incorporation into the Imperium. Worlds were taken swiftly, broken thoroughly, and left silent. After their corruption, many World Eaters began marking their armor with the skull rune of Khorne, painted or carved into ceramite. Some berserkers still bore twisted echoes of their past, displaying the fanged maw-consuming world, now set atop an 8-pointed star. Loyal still, if only to each other and the ruin they share. Ooh. Yeah, they got such a sweet symbol here. I'll pull it up if anyone wants to look at the video. Sometimes
on my gun now. Or I showed you that, didn't I?
Yeah, you showed me like a little engraving. Sometimes this World Eater symbol like looks very much like it's eating Earth. Other times it's like a random planet. None of these ones look very earthy, but pretty cool, man. I love it.
The first one did, yeah. Right
First
to your
one.
left.
A lot of them have that blue and green,
Yeah.
which most of us would say is Earth. Mark lives on Mars. He's looking for a
I live up here in a different space, my friend. Yeah, very cool symbols. And then you get that in that brass, and they start adopting all the chains and skulls and stuff and the Khorne symbols. Like, yeah, it gets good.
Oh, they already had the chains. Somebody else adopted that. The worst Legion. Not Legions. What are they? Their chapter.
Yeah.
Black Templars.
Yeah. All right. We get into some of their beliefs here. Though the War Hounds were feared for their ferocity, they were equally known for a rigid sense of martial honor, valuing fury and courage above all else. The 12th Legion existence itself was a perpetual war, a struggle without pause from birth to death, and the Legions of Sardes represented this truth in its purest and most disciplined form. Defeat was intolerable, surrender unthinkable. Mercy, when granted, took the form of a swift and final death for a foe who had fought bravely. Cowards were afforded nothing but brutal execution, an answer to their weakness. The stark code governed by the War Hounds absolutely enforced without exception upon both enemy and brother alike. So the good news is that if you fought well, you'll be given a quick warrior's death. If you were a coward or didn't fight that great, you're still going to be granted a quick and gory execution. They're completely different, guys.
Yeah, it feels different. You know, it's the intent behind the murder.
Right. course. Upon reunion with their Primarch, the Legion was swiftly shaped by Angron's Nucerian beliefs and blood-soaked rites. These practices became central to the World Eater's identity, as the culture of the 12th Legion shifted toward harsher, more violent ideals, rooted in shared suffering and strength. The Legion's ceremonies and traditions soon reflected this change. The martial customs of Old Terra, never deeply ingrained within the War Hounds, vanished entirely, replaced by Angron's uncompromising creed of slaughter, endurance, and savage competition. When the newly named World Eaters departed the training world of Bot for the first time under Angron's command, they did so bearing the sigil of a vast-fanged maw descending upon the living world, an emblem that would come to define their fate with grim accuracy. Angron's arrival forged a raw, almost tribal unity within the Legion. He became the standard by which all warriors measured themselves, his defiance marking him apart from all other Primarchs. He alone rejected the Emperor's mercy, turning his back on the Imperium's promise of conquest and glory. Angron, lord of a doomed slave army, cared nothing for galactic ambition. His only wish had been to die alongside the rebels who escaped the gladiator pits of Deshea, with him a broken band of brothers and sisters waiting in the mountains for death by hunger or battle. When the 12th Legion learned of this defiance upon Nuceria, they did not despise Angron for it. They revered him. A Primarch who chose death beside his comrades over obedience to the Emperor embodied loyalty in its purest form. A really quick side note, this kind of bringing together the Legion makes sense, kind of like how the Khan did with the White Scars, because this Legion would have been broken up and scattered as these shock troop elements across a bunch of different other legions. But when Angron comes and he kind of unites the Legion, you see the same thing where the Khan also creates rituals and stuff to bond what otherwise would have been culturally very different Space Marines because they were fighting so long alongside other chapters or other legions.
Yeah.
So that Angron only did that because of Karn too, because Angron was like, "I'm leaving."
Yeah, and also killed a bunch of different captains too.
Look,
before he got to Karn. Yeah,
now that's leadership.
We all have kids here, right? Like, you send them the wrong toy.
To the World Eaters, their scarred, blood-soaked master became a savage messiah, an icon of brutal honor and shared suffering. Angron became their first and greatest master, eclipsing for many the loyalty once reserved for the Emperor as he judged them, led them, and called them to follow him into damnation. Under his guidance, the Legion's long-simmering aggression was given its structure. Gladiatorial combat, often lethal, became the core of the World Eaters' training, refining their skills while bleeding off the violence that gnawed at them between wars. This hunger for battle was further intensified by the implantation of the Butcher's Nails, devices akin to those that tormented Angron himself, binding the Legion ever closer to his fate. Bloodletting became commonplace. Warriors cut their own flesh and smeared blood across their helms before battle, a shared ritual of pain and unity. Over time, these rites deepened and darkened, until Horus twisted them toward the worship of chaos and the blood god Khorne, transforming loyalty, discipline, and tragedy into a path of endless slaughter. Again, like, the World Eaters seemed to be one of those legions that were kind of set on the path of damnation, regardless of whether or not chaos was a factor. They were already engaging in a lot of rituals and practices that at some point there probably would have been a break between them and the Imperium. Might have been like the rest of the Imperium versus them. But that you could see the cracks showing well before Horus's rebellion.
I think with that, it just would have been the Emperor came and spanked a bunch of guys, and it was like, all right, we'll stop collecting people's skulls. Fine.
Like, how many though? Can we just have like 3 each? Like, is it a no skull policy?
Like, they won't hang from our armor anymore.
Fine, no, we'll keep the skulls in the helmet when we'll carry all of it. Is that what you want?
The whole thing.
No, he's just pissed because skulls are needed to decorate the Imperial Palace. If you're taking them and wearing them,
I'm taking those home, guys.
These are the Emperor's skulls. It is interesting though, like the difference of 30K and 40K. Like 30K has like elements of nobility, and like even the bad guys are still kind of noble at the beginning. Where in 40K, there's tons of bloodletting practices and rituals amongst the loyalists. Like it gets darker even for the loyalists by the time you reach 40K. You get like the flesh terrors who are just like, like eating people, you know, and they're loyalists. You get the Carcharodons who have a bunch of crazy blood rituals too. Like
and a shark on their ship.
But the World Eaters, they were the first one, and they were doing it when it was like no bueno.
They were doing it before it was cool, okay?
Exactly, man.
They're the kids who grew up watching anime, and now anime is cool, and they're like, no, I did that back then.
And now I have to kill you for it. You've offended my honor.
Yeah, and then obviously the strong gladiatorial themes. One thing, again, I kind of mentioned this in one of the Angron episodes with like the high attrition, high casualty Space Marine chapters. I don't know, like gladiator combat to the death, A, historically probably didn't actually happen all that often, and B, like in real training terms, if every fight you have is to the death, theoretically your numbers would deplete very quickly, because like there can only be one victor of every engagement. So like how many engagements till you're not doing gladiator training anymore, you know?
I do want to say, like, from what I've read in the books, it doesn't sound like they do to the death. They do what a lot of people do, and most of the legions have it where it's like a fighting pit. It's like, okay, we go down, second blood. So, you know, whoever bleeds, whoever gets the, you know, cut twice,
once, cut twice. Yeah.
And that there are the sanguinis extremis, because Karn challenges Erebus to it. There's always
a mechanism for it, but it's not like every time they fight it's the fight to the death. Yeah, and that makes sense, because even in a squad of 10 guys and you do one pit fight, you've literally depleted your numbers by half.
Like, and then maybe that wasn't the best idea.
Right, exactly, right? Like it's an unsustainable.
Who's ready for round 2?
Yeah, exactly. And suppose you do have a round 2 of those 5, right? Now you're down to 2.5 guys, right? Like
okay. Final one, guys. Final one.
Right. There's a certain number of fights they'll do in a night. They're only allowed to have like, I want to say 15 fights in a night. It's something like that, because when Delvaris does his whole shenanigans and Latara shoots him and then he gets in trouble, they all go down there and they're like, okay, everybody challenge Delvaris. They're like, okay, we're fighting you. And Delvaris is a badass, so he beats like I think 14 people or whatever. And then this one apothecary comes, like I think they call him Blood Spitter. He is the one who ends up beating Delvaris. And he's like, you learned your lesson here, right? And Delvaris is like, oh, fuck. After
beating 14 others, yeah.
Yeah, like he was bad at it. And then in all the books, Karn doesn't care about the fighting pits, because him and Argel Tal are chained together in a lot of the fighting pits, and they lose on purpose just so they can get out. They're like, okay, this isn't real combat, like whatever. While like Sigismund and Delvaris are like, yeah, we're winning every single one of these today, guys.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, yeah, that's funny. They're just like, this is if I can't kill, I don't really care.
Yeah, and that's
not real.
It's a funny thing that might have came from their gene seed. But many have argued that Angron's gene seed was flawed from its inception, that the World Eaters were condemned the moment the 12th Legion first drew breath. Others look instead to Angron's own history, claiming the Legion might have been spared had the warning signs been heeded sooner. Still others maintain the gene seed itself was sound, and that the true cause of the Legion's ruin lay solely with Angron and his imposition of the butcher's nails. No single truth endures, yet it's widely believed that Angron's gene line bred warriors with an almost physical compulsion for battle, and a tendency toward murderous frenzy even before the nails took hold. Yeah, but good soldiers.
Point them in a direction, you know that problem solved.
Whatever the truth, the warriors of the World Eaters live with an inescapable need to kill, a hardwired imperative that drives them into disciplined violence, and when restraints fails, berserk excess. What was that sentence? Hold on. hardwired imperative that drives them into a disciplined violence, and when restraint fails, berserk excess. Okay, sorry. That's just the first time broke my brain. The
I've been
urge.
there so many times, my friend.
Reading's hard. Like it did the nails. They bite.
And then it only makes you angrier as you go, and by the end, like you're trying to read through broken computer screen cracks, so it makes it harder. Like,
I won't do that. I'll get grounded. I'm not doing that. The urge is so powerful that in the absence of an enemy, they will turn upon one another without hesitation. Brothers shredding brothers' blood, bound by loyalty to the Legion above all else, even as the loyalty drags them deeper into the shared damnation. Yeah, they are. Throughout the whole thing, it's funny because it's like Karn's the only one dealing with everybody. Angron's like, this is what we're doing. And then he leaves and everybody's like, Karn, like, you got to talk to him. And he's like, you heard Dad. Like, you want me to go in there and have this fight? And then people who stand up to Angron don't tend to last very long within the Legion.
yeah.
A few of them.
They're still splattered on the walls of Angron's chamber. They're still around.
Said, Dad, we're not doing damnation. Or decimation. That's stupid. And he was like, what? He's like, I'm not killing my brother. He's like, you know what? I like you. You stood up to me. You get to pick the first guy. And then he was like, no. And then Angron killed a bunch of people.
Moral of the story is, never stand up to an abusive dad.
Exactly.
I don't know what the takeaway is.
Constantly.
Oh, man. Yeah, so the gene seed, it seems pretty stable, surprisingly, but like I think all their gene seed is active, but also like they're just not really. It doesn't last that way for long. I don't think. I don't know. It just seems. Yeah, like we're saying, Christian, if everyone's always fighting each other, like, how do they maintain anything? How does it kind of happen? Like if these guys aren't managing their gene seed and it just goes to blood and core and
I'm just going to say they were the most broken Legion to hit the Eye of Terror and then still stood up to almost an entire Emperor's Children Legion. So therefore, they are the greatest of the Legions.
You can't argue with that logic.
No, and I'm not going to fight a fucking 6'4" guy over there. It's not.
Look, I'm a teddy bear. I would never. You would hit me, I would cry, and that's just where we're in.
No, I don't want that on my conscience.
What have you done?
So the World Eaters' homeworld, they kind of have a couple, but not really. Like, homeworld's not a good word for it. The World Eaters never claim a true homeworld, as other legions did. Their Primarch Angron was found upon the world of New Syria, yet the circumstances of his discovery forged no bond between planet and legion. There was no shared culture, no world raised in their image, only distance and unhealed wounds. Instead, the World Eaters endured as a legion without hearth, drawing together around scattered mustard worlds, foremost amongst them the brutal training ground of Bot. These places were not homes, but proving grounds where warriors were forged, broken, and reforged into the company of their own kind. Bound not by soil or banner, but by blood, discipline, and loyalty to the Legion alone. Yeah, like, and they don't take New Syria as their home world, like, yeah.
I'm sure that was covered in the Angron episode. I just don't remember. But yeah.
Angron would just kill all the new recruits of the New Syrian. Can you imagine if Highborn joined? Like,
yeah, all the elites, like all the highborn elites to join and just getting offed.
Actually, for all we know, he did. Sorry, for all we know, he did start a recruiting center there, but they just butchered every recruit that came through there.
It was just his reason to kill people from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Make this easy.
All right, they all just don't seem to make the cut.
Yeah. Everyone that comes up here with a bunch of gene seed then leaves with any.
Oh well. What do you do? So tell me about Bot.
I'll tell you about Bot. Serving as the Legion's de facto homeworld, Bot was a harsh land of ash waste and volcanic ruin. It existed not as a place of heritage, but as a vast barracks and proving ground for the World Eaters. The planet was home to the Newman gun clans, warriors who often fought alongside the World Eaters' forces as Imperial Army Auxilia. As the Legion carried out live fire drills and expanded its forges, Bot was steadily poisoned, its surface rendered unstable and toxic. Hidden beneath its crust lay vaults of ancient and proscribed weapons, guarded by tech priests of Sarum, known as the Crimson Priests. No, that's kind of a cool thing that you don't often see is human warriors who are raised up to fight alongside their legionary counterparts. Because you would think any world that produces human specimens that are good enough to become Space Marines, even the failures of those groups would still make really good soldiers or warriors of some kind. So
Yeah.
I like that they do this because it's not super often that you see that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
and
what the neophytes are or whatever, aren't they? In a
What?
regular...
No. Well, no, not necessarily. They're the ones that made the cut to get that far from like a recruiting group. But like there's no what's a Space Wolves homeworld?
Fenris.
Fenris?
Yeah. There's no like Phoenician guardsman legion, right? But you would think even someone who failed out the opportunity to even become a Space Marine, either they're too old or they didn't just quite make the cut. Usually that ends in death, so maybe not always that case. But in any case, they produce like hardier warriors across the board, whether or not that person made it to Space Marine levels of hardy. So you would think it would be a good place to recruit just a regular stockpile of soldiers from, but it doesn't often happen. You have the Ultramarines are a little bit of an exception because they have so many worlds to recruit from that you actually have like a vast human military force in addition to the Ultramarine chapter proper. But yeah, you don't see this happen very often.
Yeah, and it's too bad because they train together, but they don't realize until they go to battle that the World Eaters, like, if you get in their fucking way, you're dead. Like, ally or not, like, you might have been having
pretty
tea with
good
them.
with their allies up until post heresy, but Butcher's Nails even the Karn fought alongside Artel for countless battles. Never heard him once. I'm just saying. They did something in their brain for whatever reason was like, I need to kill people, but maybe not that guy. Women and children, fine. Not that guy.
Not him.
I mean, to some extent, though, you're right. Like, again, if you're so unstable that you're butchering your own squads, like you can't even prosecute a real war if you keep evolving. Now that can happen actually.
It came later, obviously.
Yeah, like it's not that it doesn't happen, but it's not like it's always the case. But like Mark said, like if you're between a World Eater and his target, he doesn't think about you. Even if he moves through you to get past you, like he's gonna stomp through you. And you will die just because of the fact that you're a squishy human and not 8-foot power armored Space Marine, right? Like, and they don't care, right? Like, whereas another Space Marine might be like, I'm going to go around this guy.
Look out, guardsmen! It's just that easy, you know. A lot of lives could have been saved with a simple lookout. Behind, like kitchen rules apply, World Eaters. If you're behind somebody, if you're going around a corner, let them know you're carrying a beefy weapon.
Yeah. And I will also say that like that does help if the human soldiers are recruited, because maybe they do kind of understand, like if they have a similar warrior culture, they're like, yeah, you died in service to this greater cause. Who cares if a World Eater just stomped through your buddy? Like, there's kind of like a mutual understanding of how they fight.
Maybe I shouldn't have been in that guy's way. That's why I'm dying.
Maybe that's my fault.
Might be. Don't stand in front of the 8-foot tall fucking genetically engineered person. No, that's fair. I also don't stand in front of forklifts when they're riding around. It's just
exactly. That's your fault, man. Right. After the drop site massacre, senior World Eaters apothecaries working alongside the word bearers came to Bot and established biovats to replenish the Legion with ruthless speed. The result was a generation of warriors forged in rage alone. Those who survived emerged believing themselves veterans of countless campaigns, loyal only to the Legion that had remade them. In 008 M31, During the Horus Heresy, man, I gotta stop drinking energy drinks on air. I keep getting hiccups. All right, sorry. In 008 M31, during the Horus Heresy, Bot was assaulted by the Shattered Legion's Iron Hands under Autek Mor. After a brutal and uncompromising battle, the planet was utterly razed, its destruction marking the end of the only world the World Eaters ever called their own. Some might even say they ate the world.
Oh,
Nice. Angron would be proud.
Yeah, I
That's
did
not
not
fair
know that.
later.
I did not know that they had the genetically grown biovats, which kind of answers some of my questions about how they replenish their numbers if they do have like high attrition rates, regardless of the friendly fire or not. And then it doesn't make sense. I actually don't understand why more legions didn't do that. And there must be some kind of downside where they're just not as good, maybe as a full-fledged.
Well, first of all, don't you dare say that about a World Eater.
Yeah.
They are
They're
better
perfect in
above
every
and
way.
beyond. Yeah.
I will cast myself in front of a World Eater. I apologize.
Yeah.
No, that's a cool little workaround where it's like, yeah, they have those bats and they even had the word bearers kind of helping them. And if you kind of remember the story of them, like the word bearers really played the World Eaters and they like fucked over Angron big time. There's that whole like Angron wasn't a willing demon host, or a demon participant, but kind of got forced into it a little bit by them. So you almost wonder like how much of the word bearers kind of were really messing with them at the beginning, or like maybe just amping up those levels of aggression even on their own. Like, yeah, because they were always kind of knowing what the plan was, what the dark gods wanted.
It's
100%.
It is crazy. They're reading the books. Like, part of me wants to be like, Lorgar was just like, this is the only way I can save my brother. But at the same time, Lorgar is such a piece of shit that you're like, did he know? Did he know he was going to, you're going to be a demon now, buddy. You're not going to be a happy one.
You're saved.
But you're alive.
100%.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Because like in the books, he's the only one who's like, that's our brother. That like you guys might hate Angron, but he's our brother. Like, because Magnus is like, why are you trying to help this thing? And Lorgar's like, that's our brother. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, it made me like Lorgar. That was the only thing that made me like Lorgar, is he was like on Angron's side to a certain extent. And then he was like, you're a demon now.
Like, demon.
Whatever.
But you're saved.
And it all took place. Oh no, it did take place on Nuceria, wasn't it? Is that where he changed?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they like hint heavily that it is Nuceria, but I kept on seeing that like
because he was there, and that's where Gilliman steps on the skulls. But it was during the whole thing at Calth too.
Yeah.
Well, Nuceria must have been like right outside of there, and then they just decided not to find Angron for
Yeah. And like Nuceria is a weird place because they like always describe it as they don't know exactly where it was and like what happened to it, and even if the name was Nuceria, like they had some of that kind of stuff. So but we're pretty sure that this is where all that happens.
Okay, which I'm probably about to get into right now. During the Horus Heresy, Angron returned to Nuceria in the company of Lorgar, Primarch of the Word Bearers. There he learned the planet's rulers had taught its people that he had abandoned his fellow slaves at the moment of their last stand. Enraged by the lie and the betrayal it represented, Angron decreed the extinction of all life upon Nuceria, and order the World Eaters and Word Bearers executed with methodical, merciless precision. During the slaughter, a vast Ultramarines fleet under Rabute Gilliman translated into orbit, seeking vengeance for the devastation of Calth. That's when it all happened. Yeah. As the city of Miahor, that's how I'm pronouncing that, burned, the Chaos forces clashed with Ultramarines and Mechanicum allies. Gilliman confronted both Angron and Lorgar in a colossal duel. At its height, Lorgar completed a ritual that forced Angron's apotheosis, transforming him into a demon prince. With this act, the Ultramarines were compelled to withdraw. In the aftermath, Nuceria was remade as a demon world. Its surface torn apart as 6 of Khorne's mightiest servants fought for supremacy, with Gakhol emerging triumphant. I have not read that ever, but I want to read that part of that book. During the Siege of Terra, Nuceria was finally annihilated from orbit by Lionel Johnson and the Dark Angels. Of course it was. Angron felt the world's death even from Terra itself, the final severing of a past that had never truly been his, but whose pain he had never escaped. Which, yeah, Nuceria was a whole driving factor. You guys covered it. Poor Angron, like, he would have been the greatest of them all. But
in a different way, because once again, he is the greatest. The World Eaters are the best, but
he would have been the greatest of the loyalists.
Yes.
Is what I mean. Like, the quote unquote good guys who everybody clings to. What?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've kind of noticed when the big four demon princes turn to demon princes like Magnus, Angron, Fulgrim, and Mortarion, it all seems almost like unwilling, or that they were forced. Like Fulgrim, clearly we know his story. He painted a fucking painting with his own shit and then got possessed by a demon from a whispering sword. Like, it wasn't necessarily his choice. He was kind of poured along. And then even Portorabo went with him to the Eye of Terror, and there was that whole little incident where like Portorabo tried to Fulgrim tried to sacrifice Portorabo, I think, and in return it kind of backfired on him. And then we get the whole Magnus story where he wasn't supposed to go down that path either, but he gets attacked by the wolves and all that, and we get the burning of Prospero, and he kind of comes out as a demon prince to like save himself. Like, it seems like these big four demon princes don't choose their fate; they're definitely forced into it. I'm not sure about Mortarion. I haven't like read his like
Typhus tricks
him into it. Okay. Yeah, so then there we go. All big four chaos gods. We all look up to him as like the biggest, baddest. Like, yeah, you're the chosen, but it's like it wasn't their choice necessarily.
The chosen are usually the captains. It seems like in the end. Like, I've read some places, I don't know how true it is, that Angron's jealous of Karn because Karn actually has Korn's favor. Where like,
so then Magnus and Ahriman, we got Typhus and Mortarion, and then Fulgrim and Lucius, I guess. But Lucius doesn't necessarily seem like the champion.
Lucius is definitely not the person that would fill that role. He's a little bit the exception because I don't see his captains. Although even with him, what's their apothecary's name? I always forget his name.
Fabius,
wow. Yeah. They're already doing like weird experimentation on their Marines. Granted, it's not necessarily chaos induced, but it's still highly forbidden. And even his own first captain, Julius Kizaron, doesn't come off as like super. Like he looks like he gets corrupted by his Primarch, not the other way around. So the closest one I would say is maybe even someone like Fabius, who's the other really arrogant one who gets his head cut off.
Eidolon.
Yeah, even he would be a little bit more, but I don't think he has that much sway over his Primarch. But on that same note, though, Corfarion, certainly even with the Arc Trader, not Horus.
The OG.
Yeah.
Lorgar, Erebus. And
Lorgar, yeah. Like Corfaron and Erebus certainly even corrupted Lorgar, right? So that's still, even for him, that tracks.
Huh. Interesting. Well, so their worlds get destroyed. Hey, man, if you're calling yourself the World Eaters, you don't get a home world. I think they realize that. So we'll jump to their recruitment next. Losses within the World Eaters were severe, and the number of recruits who died during training is believed to have surpassed that of any other legion of the age. The methods were relentless, accepting no weakness and offering no mercy, for only those who endured were deemed worthy of standing among their brothers. Beyond a certain stage, training ceased to be a simulation and became true combat. Gladiatorial trials and battle drills were fought with live ammunition and sharpened blades. Each contest intended to push a warrior's skill, endurance to its absolute limit before he could earn a place within the Legion. To withstand both this brutality and the Legion's constant state of war, Angron ordered recruitment to be simplified and accelerated. Aspirants were drawn from feral and feudal worlds across the Imperium, taken not from their refinement or for their refinement, but for their resilience and capacity to survive hardship in the service of the Legion. While individual martial prowess was paramount, the World Eaters also enforced discipline in a wider conduct of war. Entire companies and battalions clashed in vast structured contests to hone coordination and battlefield doctrine beneath Angron's watchful judgment. Yet it was always war itself that the World Eaters revered, and it was in true battle that the leaders were proven, chosen, and bound to their own through blood and shared endurance. Yeah. Okay, so he just kind of amps up of recruitment a little bit. You get that grown stuff a little bit here and there. But yeah, man, they're doing like whole battles sometimes. Like lining up tanks against their own tanks, man, and doing shit. Like, yeah. Hard to keep that machine going.
I will say, counter to my earlier point about training to the death. That's talking like once you're already ascended to the status of World Eaters. Most Space Marines do have high attrition rates, just even the regular Space Marine chapters, when recruiting due to like death during the recruitment process, which that is fine. Depending on how many recruits you really need to keep up your numbers. But that it's not the same as killing, full-fledged World Eaters in a gladiatorial pit.
I met some numbers of World Eaters, and I guess at the time of the Horus Heresy, they had 150,000. Quite a bit.
You can trust this source. It was Angron, the Red Angel.
Angron himself
Posted.
read it and wrote
Yeah.
From the Eye of Terror.
Posted on Reddit. Lots of words, though. There's some blue links even, so I'll make this guy's word for it. He looks like he should start a 40K podcast or something with this amount of information.
It's too late. We're already here.
It should also be noted that live fire.
I think I read that they are one of our numerous legions.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should be noted that even live fire exercises don't necessarily mean fatal. Live fire exercises and even like battalion to battalion doesn't mean like, yeah, there might be training maneuver, let's say, or firing at targets, not necessarily at each other's tanks. Again, you just end up destroying half your force with every engagement.
Yeah, but they knew that when they were sending in after that could beat other
yeah, I've already killed like 10 people in basic training. Like, what's one more in the actual battlefield? But yeah, let's get on to their broader combat doctrine. Hand-to-hand combat had always been the preferred expression of war for the 12th Legion, even before they bore the Emperor-granted name of the War Hounds. This did not reflect any lack of skill in ranged battle, armored thrusts, or the coordination of artillery and supporting fire, for the Legion was fully capable in every mode of warfare demanded of them. I guess that's another quick aside I'll say is that, yeah, everyone always thinks of World Eaters as strictly chain axe and bolt pistol, but they are actually good at other forms of warfare too.
Oh yeah, it's that thing where they fall into those boxes that everybody wants to put them in for every legion. But during the Great Crusade, all the legions were good at almost everything. They just
some excelled even more so or specialized even more so than one or the other. But it doesn't mean they can't or were incapable of doing other methods of war. Ferris Man
better with the axes.
Yeah. Ferris Manus, Primarch of the Iron Hands and no stranger to mechanized war, once praised the War Hounds' armored assault at Aldebaran Septis as the epitome of ironclad rage given form. To the War Hounds themselves, however, armor and guns were never the purpose of war, but tools to carry them where they could fight face to face. So yeah, obviously the preference is always to drive closer and hit them with your sword. That purpose was the delivery of the Legion's true strength. Its Astartes into killing. That purpose was the delivery of the Legion's true strength. Its Astartes into killing distance. The 12th Legion habitually bore in excess of close combat weapons among its line warriors. Combat knives and gladii were ubiquitous, but even recon elements and vehicle crews commonly carried chain blades, flay cutters, mono-serrated bayonets, backup knives, hatchets, and cleavers. Assault units carried more still, most notably a weapon with roots in Terra's techno-barbarian past, the broad-bladed chain axe. With Angron's arrival, his inclination toward personal violence deepened into doctrine. The master gladiator taught his sons new weapons and harsher methods, and a culture of direct combat took hold at the Legion's core. Under his guidance, the chain axe was refined and elevated in status, its reputation spreading even beyond the 12th Legion. In form and function, it became a symbol of the Legion itself, uncompromising, unsubtle, and built for a single task. When the 12th Legion launched a planetary assault, they did so with an unsettling precision. Drop pods slammed into the surface, and gunship ramps fell open as world eaters advanced to secure their landing zones. Recon units pushed outward, Vox links were established, and companies cohered with methodical discipline. Only when the Legion was fully assembled did the command to advance sound. Much has been recorded by remembrancers and Legion archivists regarding how Space Marines wage war. The World Eaters did not fight in cold silence like the Iron Hands, nor with howling exuberance like the Space Wolves or the Warriors of the Great Khan. Since their founding, whether facing Xenos, machines, or even the Emperor's Thunder Warriors, the War Hounds fought in their own manner. They closed with the enemy at a walk. There were no battle cries, no mechanical quiet, only the calm, steady voices of bonded brothers speaking as though on a march to the training cages. Rarely did a centurion order a faster pace, and almost never a run. They simply advanced, struck, and broke their foes without altering their stride, an implacable wall of violence that shattered morale before blades ever met flesh. Only when the enemy collapsed and fled did the legions accelerate. Then they became true hounds of war, running down the broken and executing them without hesitation, devouring entire war zones as they once devoured worlds. Quick historical aside, not only did people often walk into combat during like the age of black powder, obviously when you had those like really regimented troops that would just like march straight even while they're getting shot at, that carried on even into World War I, actually. The British would often walk forward instead of charging full tilt into combat. And then even in ancient times, a lot of times you see like
Christian, you're not faster than a bullet if you run, so why waste the energy? You're not outrunning.
Yeah, you just want to die tired or what?
Yeah.
But I was going to make that point too. Even in ancient warfare, like often you see this like heroic charge on foot into combat, but like realistically, you're going to be like fighting close quarters is exhausting by itself. So like unless you're really closing the distance quickly, you would march steadily into combat, fight, and then when the enemy would break is when you would start chasing them down. So that actually kind of tracks with like historical warfare. Obviously not really advised with automatic weapons, but
not the best idea to walk out an M60, no big deal.
No.
I'll take my chances.
After the implementation of the butcher's nails, that discipline fractured. The phalanx and measured advance were lost. The world eaters now ran from the moment they made planetfall, driven by pain and anticipation, surging faster as their enemies came into view. And that also makes sense when you have the physiology of a space marine where you just won't get tired. So you can
run for 3 days and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. When contact was made, no force could halt them. They tore through opposition in a storm of hacking blades, never pausing, never lingering, each warrior driven forward by the nail's relentless command. Cohesion dissolved as the battle deepened, until every world eater fought alone, following the nails through streets and corridors slick with blood. Vox channels filled with laughter, screams, and the roar of chain blades. When ammunition ran dry, they welcomed it. Bolt guns were cast aside, forgotten as the Legion surrendered entirely to killing by hand. The nails burned and the world eaters answered. The slaughter did not end until nothing remained. Like ancient marauders of old Earth, they smashed their way into fortresses and holds, leaving only ruin and butchered silence behind them. A final tragic testament to a Legion once disciplined, now bound only to itself and the blood it shed.
Thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah, that's what they're singing over the box.
Nah, it's 90s, they're early 2000 girl pop guys. Come on.
Oh,
Let's be real here.
yeah.
Chanting
Yeah.
Barbie girl while they slaughter.
Exactly. The Slaughter to Prevail did a cover of Barbie Girls, funny enough. So, on to their martial traditions. Among the World Eaters, martial tradition was not ceremony but proof, each right a scar carried forward from battle rather than a symbol worn for display. Triumph ropes, knotted with the weight of past victories, were worn to mark campaigns survived and brothers lost. Their fibers often stained dark with old blood. Chain-bound weapons to gauntlets. Chains-bound weapons to gauntlets. Reading is hard. And warriors to one another. A declaration that once the killing began, there would be no retreat and no surrender of the blade. Red honor markings, handprints, stripes, and tear stains, daubed in blood or pigment, were bestowed not for rank, but for acts of ferocity and endurance that set a warrior apart from his peers. To the 12th Legion, these marks were discipline made visible, a shared language of violence, and the loyalty reminding every world eater that honor was earned only through suffering beside their brothers and was paid for in blood. Funny thing about the handprint, the captain of the Conqueror actually has the red handprint. Latara Seren. She was one of the
sexy.
Hell yeah.
Captain of the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was given by Angron himself, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He wiped his bloody hand on her shirt, and she's like, "I'm never gonna wash this again."
Damn straight. Same.
Fucking Angron's just copping a field on this poor lady.
She was the only one
that
he came in and he's like, "How's my ship?" And she was like, "You mean my ship?" And he was like, "I like this bitch."
I'm not gonna throw you out the airlock.
Yeah. And that's why she got away with the thing she did. She shot Delvaris in the fucking head with a lance pistol. And Delvaris was going to murder her, and so was his guard, but she got saved by, oh crap, I can't think of the psyker's name. It was a World Eater psyker.
I wouldn't know. I don't know all the world leaders by name. Unlike you just
I
rattling
would.
off names out of your head.
If the memory was there. But no, he stopped Bolter from hitting her, and then him and there's an old World Eater who, he's that Loken type where he's like, he never felt like he was a World Eater. He's always a War Hound. Yeah. They checked on her, and she was like, "Get this asshole out of here." And then Delvaris got grounded for a little bit. He had to stay in his chambers. And then he did his 14 duels. And they were like, "Karn set this up, didn't they?" And he didn't. They just knew what Karn would want them to do.
Nice.
The answer is always violence.
It's not at the time. He was a good man, okay? Don't you talk about Karn like that?
You guys heard of a blood payment?
The other thing to note, too, you mentioned this earlier, was the gauntlet chaining weapons to their gauntlets, which is a practice, like you said, is now adopted by a couple of Imperial Fists that later became adopted by the whole Black Templars chapter.
Yeah, because of Sigismund.
Yeah.
Supposedly it was from a duel with Karn, I believe.
That sounds right. Like, I remember reading this. My recall is nowhere near yours.
I just read recently.
Portion in here. I think we don't need to read the Triumph Rope. I did talk about that pretty thoroughly when we did the Angron episode, but definitely that is like a common practice amongst the World Eaters for sure. They also have the gladiatorial pits that we kind of have been talking about, and sometimes it's to the death, but also you can't do that all the time. You can only do that 14 times, and then on the 15th you got to call it quits because somebody's going to kill you.
It's nap time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're tired. You're tired from killing.
But since you guys were mentioning that chain, there is that wearing chains section there that we could read through because there's a couple cool little characters there that adopt this.
Oh, more people adopt it? Oh, it's my turn. Before the Horus Heresy, the World Eaters wore stark white power armor, left deliberately plain, save for the chains that bound their weapons to their arms. These chains were a tradition unique to the 12th Legion, born in their fighting pits and later adopted by warriors of other legions who recognized their grim practicality and symbolism. Damn right.
It just seems so shitty to be wielding a chain weapon and having like loose chains flailing around. Like that's a recipe. It's like howling banshees and their long hair and chain weapons. You're like, I don't know about that one.
Well, the chains act as a second weapon, right? They swing and they're moving and things happen. All right, it's just don't think about it too much. Stop thinking so much.
Okay, no, shit.
We don't do that
Go
either.
back to my world eater. Give me another fucking butcher's nail. I'm thinking too much.
In the pits, the world eaters chained themselves together and fought beneath the eyes of their brothers. They entered unarmored, clad only in loincloths. Oh yeah. To show contempt for injury and to ensure that no warrior held advantage over another. For those who proved truly worthy, the 12th Legion even opened their pits to Astartes of other gene lines, testing brotherhood through blood. This guy, who I hate. Sigismund, first captain of the Imperial Fists, embraced the custom with characteristic severity, binding his weapons to his wrists with heavy black chains. During his service alongside the World Eaters aboard the Conqueror late in the Great Crusade, he earned lasting renown by dueling the Legion's finest warriors. And that's what I was talking about. I think Sigismund and Delvarus were chained together, and they took the fighting pits super serious. Meanwhile, people like Karn and Argeltal were like, I can't kill you at the end of this. Let's cut me so I can get the hell out of this.
Yeah.
And people got mad at him for that. And then Sigismund and Karn eventually had their fight. They named him Black Knight in respect to his skill, his bearing, and his personal heraldry. He was often paired with Delvarus of the Triarii, and together they won every bout they fought, always to first blood, never lasting more than moments. No opponent could match them. None came close, which Delvarus's chosen weapon, not during these, obviously, because they did first blood. I'm assuming he didn't use a meteor hammer, but was a meteor hammer, which they need to bring back.
First
that thing
blood
is
with
sick.
a meteor hammer.
Yeah, you're getting whacked upside the head with this fucking giant ball and a chain. Good deal.
Oh my god.
So this is one I didn't know. Nasir Amit of the Blood Angels, known as the Flesh Terror, was another outsider who.
Oh, wait, I didn't know him. We talked about that.
I knew the Flesh Terrors. I didn't know. So the only one I know from them is Seth something.
Yeah, Gabriel
Seth.
Gabriel Seth, yeah. But Nasir Amit was another outsider who earned fear and respect within the World Eaters' pits before the heresy. He fought with the same ruthless savagery as his hosts, a legacy that would later define the Flesh Terrors chapter he would command. Really? I had no clue about this guy. He might be my new favorite Blood Angel. Emmett was frequently paired with the apothecary Cargos, and few wished to face the Flesh Terror and the Blood Spitter. Their bouts never ended at first blood, nor even third. They fought sanguineous extremists. I wouldn't want to fight the fuckers either. To the death. No cruelty was forbidden, no restraint observed, and every contest they entered ended as a killing ground, honored by the World Eaters as the truest proof of loyalty and strength.
There's always that one fucking guy who takes it too far. He's playing a game of
too
cards.
much.
Yeah, and he's like, this game of cards is to the death. And you're like, no, we're playing strip poker. That's enough, Christian. We're not playing to the death anymore.
Like, okay, guys, let's just settle on something together. Russian roulette.
That's family game night.
Yeah. It's game night of Russian roulette.
The Blood Spitter, he said sanguineous extremist with Delvarus, but he let him live.
That's not playing by the rules.
Yeah, well, Delvarus was one of their greatest fighters.
They should introduce sanguineous extremists in regular 40K tournaments.
They should
once you table your opponent in
more places.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you could just fight your boss
to the death?
And you get his position?
Yeah, that's the only way to get promoted. It's all or nothing.
We're creating a better world for our children.
Violence is the only answer.
I like that quote. people say that violence is never the answer. Well, that's not true. Violence is always the question, and the answer is always yes.
Yes.
I was going to say with the chaining of the weapons, I took that to heart, and with my world leaders, I stole a bunch of Black Templar weapons and have given them to my champions and stuff.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Do
and then,
they not,
I printed
do
out
they
a
do
gut
that
sword for mine.
Do they not do that in the Berserker
There's-
kit?
there's a couple that have kind of chains dangling from them, but not in the same way that the Black Templars.
Yeah, for
model.
because why give it to the guys who invented it? Give it to the guys who adapted it.
Who stole it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I actually bought a little chain so I could put it on all my heresy models to chain all their weapons to their arms.
Yeah, there you go. It's a
I
lot
did that
more
with
work
my
than what
Angron
I
too.
did. Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Well, that's why it's hard to do. Like as we were talking, logistically, it's hard to get a hold of that much chain. You know, the world leaders, they already have to worry about so much. They can't worry about chain management as well.
Yeah, theirs is hanging and crazy. Black Templar's like, it's got to be perfect, guys. Hold on. You got to get this bolt right here.
He's even chain wrapping himself nowadays. Fuck. It's tight.
Symbolically, too, the whole chains also harkens back to their whole thing about gladiators and slavery. Slaves often wear chains. They're chained to their weapons. They're chained to violence. They are chained, like it's the whole thing about they are servants of or slaves to violence, which is its own kind of like.
Don't you say the world eaters are slaves, you son of a bitch. Sword subject.
Nuceria has been destroyed. You know this. We talked about it.
We got
It's the spirit. The spirit of slavery.
It lives in us all.
No. Oh my god. Well, there are also warrior monks. They had some cool traditions and color codings. The few honors within the 12th Legion truly respected were the marks of brotherhood and the scars earned in battle, symbols that ignored rank and spoke only of the worth of the warrior beneath the ceramite. To the world eaters, such signs were the only measures that mattered. Broken chains worn by those who had faced impossible odds and survived carried deep meaning, echoing Angron's brutal past. Likewise, the bloody handprints smeared across the helmet or chest, granted by the battle leader to a warrior whose fury had surpassed his brothers, held greater value than any title, relic, or decoration. These warrior monks were living proof of loyalty and endurance. Among them were the following. So these are kind of just different little blood markings or markings that they had. Bearers, this is Christian's line.
Bearers of the blood hand. Those marked by the blood hand cared nothing for past accolades or hollow praise. Each strove to live up to the savagery that had earned the mark, fighting until the day they fell amid the shattered bodies of their enemies. So like we said, Lortara Saren has the blood hand symbol. The Fanged Maw. Variants of the Legion's Fanged Maw sigil worn upon armor plates signified long and unbroken service to the Legion. So they have their traditional world leader symbol, but yeah, the Fanged Maw is an additional symbol you can see on them. Red striations. Crimson streaks across the helm often mirrored the psychosurgical scars of the butcher's nails, worn as a personal and grim embellishment. I believe Karn bears these red striations on his helmet.
Oh, cool. And then if you've seen like Angron's 30K model, he has like these red scars. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know they were from like the butcher's nails. I thought they were like tattoos or part of the triumph rope or something like that, but it's a little different.
Red tears. Painted trails of red beneath the helm's eye lenses, more blood than pigment, marked ritual scarification and devotion to the Legion's path.
All right, hold on. The red tears are just those tattoos that those get
in prison.
Damn it.
That could be it. I wonder. Okay, tell me if I'm crazy. I often am. Could you take some Blood Angel pieces and claim them as red tears on?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
When you said red tears, I automatically went to Blood Angels because that's what theirs is, right? That's their symbol. It's a red tear with wings.
Yeah. So now you to do a cool World Eaters armor, you gotta buy some Black Templar, you gotta buy some Blood Angels. Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
You're $300 and on your box of just Berserkers.
Yeah. Like one squad's worth.
Oh yes.
10 guys. And now I need 30 other guys to make sure they look the way I want them to.
All right. And then finally, tally markings. Kill counts carved into vambraces or weapons recorded a warrior's deeds. A cross chain symbol upon a vambrace marked a rare and a grave honor. The sanctioned slaying of a higher ranked world leader in the pits. Proof that loyalty to the Legion stood above all hierarchy.
That one's fucking tight. Like, yeah, you killed your sergeant. We're joking about killing our boss, and it's like, yeah, they did it. You get a cool little tattoo for it. Well
Got
done.
a tattoo and a fucking
My
raise.
goodness.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Coming for you next, mill management.
I'm gonna run this damn company by the end of the day. As long as there's only 14 of you in my way.
And there will be no more employees left. Murder.
Well, it'll be easy to run then.
You just gotta run yourself. Just easy.
Yeah.
This word, cadre remusum.
Pseudo.
Dead.
Yep.
That's what I'm going with. Before the Horus Heresy, many world eaters bore the snarling serum pattern helms, a stark and utilitarian design that mirrored the Legion's philosophy of violence under control. As the heresy drew closer, warriors of the 12th Legion began to alter these helms with twin mantles of the cadre remusum, a grim distinction rooted in the pit fighting rights of Angron's forgotten homeworld, carried forward out of loyalty rather than honor. So, oh, dude, that's Lork. Or not Lork. Yeah. What's his name?
I think
it says it right there. But he's one of the founding members of the Black Legion. But yeah, he's one of my...
Fucking tight.
Actually, our good friend Gerald helped. I edited a whole mini and he printed it for me and I have to put it together and paint it. But it's Lork.
Nice. Yeah, that guy has the biggest fucking Caradarium, Rosariums, or whatever the fuck you call them.
Yeah.
They're huge.
And that was a cool thing in the Angron book, I believe, Slave of Nuceria, was the first time you get a glimpse of the butcher's nails, the dudes are wearing those cadre.
Cool. We can just call them bunny ears from now on.
Yeah, bunny ears. They're wearing the bunny
high
ears.
Gothic and low Gothic. It doesn't quite translate well in this case, but we get it.
But yeah, that was the first time you saw the bunny ears, was Angron fighting these two giant, like Angron, who had butcher's nails implanted in them.
Cool. Fucking tight.
Those judged too broken, too unstable, or too scarred to serve in anything but ritualized slaughter were marked with the bladed horns of the remusum, the bunny ears, a sign both of condemnation and acceptance. Though Angron forbade their use among his veteran companies, many world eaters defied his command, choosing brotherhood over censure. In time, these brutal mantles would become inseparable from the image of the Legion, a tragic symbol later claimed by the Coronate Berserkers after their Primarch's final damnation. Which, yeah, that's... I'm sure Angron, the first time they started popping up with these things, he was like, what the fuck?
This
You guys are going to give me PTSD. But yeah,
I'm not sure how I feel about these though. Like I love them. I'm just like, it's a weird chicken and egg one for me. You know, I just feel like this is such a iconic helmet, and I think core, and I don't think the Caradum Rosarium from the Nuceria Gladiator pits. You know, like the way the Khorne does it, it's like you could see Khorne's actual symbol off the helmets. Like I don't know. I feel like they kind of took a step that they didn't really need to.
Well, even if you go to AOS, they have those helmets.
Exactly.
I think it was a way of tying it. Like, okay, these dudes in the gladiator pits didn't know they were worshiping Khorne, but they had these helmets because, you know, they had a vision of them, or that, so they asked for them, and that's what they had them. And then once the world eaters got their butcher's nails, they were like, I don't know why, but this is something we need to mark us as like, we have butcher's nails. We are gonna. But I don't know.
Yeah, like it's not the worst offense, but
I mean, the Red Butchers didn't have them though. They were Terminator helmets. They couldn't get those damn things in there.
They wear them on their backs now.
They do have one.
I'm of two minds. I kind of agree with Mark, sort of. However, a couple of counterpoints. The original ones are kind of curved inward, so they look less like the later ones are more of a cornate symbol. Like these are more rounded and curved inward, whereas if you look at the modern 40K ones, they're more angular and triangular, and those more so resemble the corn symbol. So it could be that they had this already going for them, so they just modified it to more align with their new master. So that's one explanation, and the other one is there isn't really like, are there any other corn worshipping factions that have this symbolism? Because if you're relating it to AOS or fantasy, like that's not ancient 40K.
Yeah,
it's completely different fiction. So it's not like you could argue this could never have been done in the universe before.
But we know it happened under Sharia, so it happened.
Right, exactly. Like it's only later adopted, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now that all being said, I think in real life, my guess is they probably took it from Thusla Doom's helmet from the Conan movie.
Hell yeah.
I need to
is
Google.
What I think is where that style came from, but I'm just guessing.
Who'd you call that? Thusla Doom?
Yeah. Thusla? Yeah, Doom. No, Doom.
Doom.
Oh, Thulza Doom. Do helmet though, because you got to find his
No,
helmet.
you got to do the snake version of him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It is two snakes on his helmet, but
Yeah,
That's
almost
an actual like thing in history who wore something similar.
The
ancient
not
Northern
off
helms.
the top of my head. No,
I'll say
definitely
they
not,
have horns.
No, there's like the leader of that companions guild or whatever. I forget what his name is. It's like no, like the ancient leader, like
Eastermore.
Yeoman. Yeah,
Oh,
Eastermore.
yeah, use them more. Yeah.
How do
could
you spell
forget
that?
YGSMOR, maybe something like that.
Yeah, that sounds
There's definitely a Y in there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. I can picture the statue in my head.
Yeah. Those are obviously dragons, okay? Like,
which
it's
are
just-
derived from serpents on Thusla Doom's helmet, which are all derived from corn.
oh my god, dude. It all goes back to Conan.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
do a
either-
podcast on Conan, man. Conan is
No,
my.
I'll be part of that one.
Yeah.
I got the books.
Oh, dude. I'm a huge Conan nerd. And everyone always thinks the 80s movies, there's so much more depth in the movie.
Oh god, yeah. The movies are great. Don't get me wrong. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, goated. But yeah, no, I got the old books. I remember my dad hid one because there was a naked girl in the front.
Wait,
Like, ooh, what's
your
in this?
dad had it
Just
specifically
words.
because of that, or
But no, he hid it. Like he
hid it.
But that made it more.
I found it at one point. I was like, "Hey, Dad," and he was like, "All right, that one's got to go somewhere now."
Son, you got to stop sticking my pages together.
Yeah. These drawings are so nice. That's where the hentai began.
That's where it all began for you. Oh, poor Toasty. Well, head taking is another martial tradition they have. Believe it or not, what this consists of is taking your enemy's heads. It's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. You wear it on your belt.
They also put it on the spiky bits in the future.
Yeah. There's all types of places you can put a head, believe it or not. There's really only one place that you can't.
Debatable. I'll do it.
The cod skull piece.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Out the mouth.
Out the mouth. Yeah, not the best defense, but hey, you can do it, I suppose. But yeah, they're big
All right,
on the.
hold on. I think there's a Karn artwork right here.
What do I have to Google to get this? Cock piece cod skull.
34.
Oh, man. The next one they have is the mortis.
Another ancient custom of the Legion was the mortis, an official accounting delivered to the master of a Legion warship, naming those battle brothers who had fallen in combat, much as apothecaries of other legions rendered their dead to command. It was a grim duty carried out with discipline and without sentiment, yet never without meaning. A mortis was never merely a list of losses. It was an act of loyalty, a remembrance owed to those who had bled and died for their brothers. Names and ranks were inscribed on scrolls, etched into brass, or cut into stone, then committed to the ship's archive of the fallen. Other legions named such rites differently. The dirge of the thousand sons, the lamentation of the sons of Horus. But amongst the 12th, it stood as a solemn bond between the living and the dead. As the world leaders sank deeper into a constant storm of rage and slaughter, even this discipline began to erode. Names blurred into blood, remembrance gave way to survival, and the mortis, like much of the Legion's older identity, was cast aside, a tragic casualty of their own unending war.
Cool.
Just to jump in on Jack's down here, the heads on stuff, that's been Imperium before any of the fucking Primarchs were even found.
Yeah, come on.
There's skulls
Not
everywhere.
Everything is Night Lords and fucking curs. Give your head a shake, young Jacks.
Like, yeah, dude, see, it's these
somebody
Night
comes-
Lords guys where they're like, oh, Curry is so important, so tragic. Oh,
Oh shit, we just made a poor young man cry. That's
they
fine.
obviously didn't read about Angron. They probably can't read. They're Night Lord fans.
Those
Me
poor-
struggling to read every sentence so far.
Yeah, so those are their martial traditions. They got a lot. Yeah, man, like where they don't have ties of like familiar bonds, like they don't have a shared homeworld or stuff, but they have all these other traditions that kind of just keep them unified and bound to each other.
That would be why they're so organized, right?
So organized.
At its founding, the 12th Legion was raised and ordered according to the Orthodox Terran pattern, as decreed by the Imperial Officio Militaris at the dawn of the Great Crusade, sharing the same structural bones as its brother legions.
Hey, just to jump in here, like I kept on wondering if I did typo. It's the 12th Legion. Why were they calling it the Bloody 13th?
Because they were the 13th fleet.
Oh,
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, because
I didn't even pay attention to that.
the expeditionary fleets don't necessarily have the same number.
Yeah, those numbers are
yeah.
crazy and far and in between.
Yeah, and this expeditionary fleet, because it was all this Modge Podge of, yes, world leaders, but also those other units, like the most savage Titan legions and the most savage kind of human cohorts. All together, they were bloody 13.
Not the Legion. Okay.
That photo you chose right there to make a little bit bigger.
I know that's the
I
best.
absolutely love that.
How do we get it bigger? Open a new tab. Share that tab.
Careful with the tabs you share, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, how do we get here?
We did it. Yeah, that
There's
artwork
that
is awesome.
Karn.
It's just like that's such a like knightly.
And it's
Look.
it's funny. It's one of those things that I find myself struggling with. Like, people don't realize the legions of, like, the heresy, how different they were than the 40K counterparts. Like, it just because you're a world eater doesn't mean you have a chain axe and a plasma pistol and that's it. Like, there was dudes running around with, like I said, meteor hammers. God, bring it back, please. Powered swords, chain swords, power fists.
Yeah. Really
Power
anything. We were joking in the chat earlier, like even a boarding shield, you shield bash people. And bolters, they have pistol whips. So pistol whipping people with your bolter, it's allowed. They'll use whatever they have. Like, they're not attached to their weapons too. So even this badass guy, he looks so sweet. All the other legionaries are envious of him. But when that sword breaks, he's maybe moving on to a fucking axe or a fist or something else. Like, they're not too attached.
He can't lose that shield. Come on, look at that shield. It says 12 on it. It's World Eater's symbol. Oh, dude, that stuff. That might be my next print job. I'm gonna find that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Well,
Captain America.
Yes.
Captain World Eater.
Captain World Eater. Tight.
So back to the organization. Yet even in those early years, the Legion's aiming arming and logistical priorities revealed a clear and deliberate preference for brutal, direct assault, favoring warfare fought at arm's reach within the crushing confines classified as zone mortalis by imperial doctrine. When Angron assumed command, these tendencies were not corrected but hardened. The Legion's core structure remained intact, yet was pared down and sharpened. Its ranks weighted toward line infantry formations built for relentless forward pressure, which is cool. And that goes back to that meteor hammer and we were talking about the boarding shields. That was even their combat doctrine and void warfare. They loved hooking onto the next ship and shoving all their guys on it.
Yeah, it's just how I like to take baths in the public baths too.
I knew you from somewhere. I knew we met before. Those names were never exchanged. These formations.
Sorry, it is funny that even in space combat they prefer melee combat.
Yeah, like what are they called? Ursa claws.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like Latara Saren's go-to. Like, all right, let's get as close as we can.
Yeah.
Hook up to these bad boys and let's start fucking shoving these guys on there.
Everything you just said could mean something completely different. But carry on.
Takes us back to those bathhouse days. These formations blended tactical squads with close assault specialists, reinforced by heavy shock units such as Terminators and fast-moving elements like land speeder squadrons. The result was an organization engineered for aggression above all else, devastatingly effective, but bought at an appalling cost in lives willingly spent. And that was a cool thing about the beginning of the war on Scalathrax. When it all starts, Karn's actually having a talk with the Emperor's children, and they're like, "You got to go," and he's like, "Well, what brings a legion together more than war?" And then as he's starting to fight, he's got this one crazy ass Terminator. It might be Gogor. That name, just now that it's there, it's stuck to me. But he comes running through. He knocks down like 3 people to go into this fight because he's in this Terminator armor, and you can't really run in it. But he was moving enough to be like, "Get the fuck out of the way!" And he knocked down like other Space Marines, so he wasn't, blowing up little node guys. But it's been their thing.
They've been known to trample people.
Hey, if you can, you do. Ranked within the World Eaters under Angron was stark and utilitarian. The Primarch held open contempt for hollow honors, elite affections, and ceremonial titles. It is said he forbade his sons from addressing him as Lord, which is true, yet he demanded absolute clarity in the chain of command. For war tolerated no confusion. That's a big theme in his books. Anytime somebody, I think he barely tolerated sire, because I think that's what Latara called him. But he's still even like, I hate that title.
Yeah, when you're a slave, you don't want other people calling you Lord. It rubs you weirdly.
You don't want to be talked to like the people who enslaved you.
Yeah, exactly.
The Legion, once known as the War Hounds, was infamous for ruthless internal discipline and volatile tempers. Authority was earned through proven violence and leadership under fire, with specialists identified early and driven hard. None were spared the expectation of ferocity. Apothecaries, gunners, and officers alike were expected to close with the enemy and kill if the moment allowed. That's a fucking good army there, okay? If your fucking healer can kill people, like anybody who plays an MMORPG knows.
It's called overhealing. If you heal somebody so good, they just explode with vitality.
You don't do that to the enemy. Discipline did not come easily to the gene line. Honor, real or imagined, was defended with blood, and perceived slights often ended in violence. Officers were expected to enforce obedience personally, and disobedience in battle was answered with immediate death. They were what people call the commissars now. Trial by combat became the Legion's chosen method of resolving disputes. Open discord settled in blood was not shameful but respected, even sacred. Challenges for command were rare, but when they came, they were fought to the death. After the betrayal on Isfahan III, the Legion turned inward and feral, increasingly uncontrollable even to its allies. Psychosurgical mutilation spread unchecked, and new recruits were implanted with butcher's nails as a matter of routine, rushed into service to replace the dead. That was a cool thing that happened in the books too, how they came about getting the butcher's nails to work. I think you guys talked about Gehenna.
Yeah, a little bit. I got some messages about what Guyana means. I forget what they were saying, but it was some... Oh, yes. Okay. Somewhere in the Middle East or whatever. I don't want to say because I don't remember where, but basically it was like a field of just corpses and shit that would be beside a city. I should almost find that comment.
I think it's like the Buddhist hell or something, isn't it?
No, it's it comes from...
I knew Christian though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
I knew.
It's like a place. It's equivalent almost to like a trash heap, like a landfill in ancient cities in ancient Israel. But it also is like where like a lot of like rotting things and decay, and like the stench is horrific. And it's also used as like a pseudonym for hell because of how like
it's such a disgusting place.
There, yeah, it's like disgusting. And think of like hell, but not like the traditional fire and brimstone only hell, but also like this idea of like worms and maggots and like disgustingness.
So the fields of Guyana, or the actual literally location outside Jerusalem, where all of the human excrement, trash, and whatnot were piled up and burnt. It is picture it, if you will, just a field of smoldering piles of human refuse.
Yeah.
Delightful.
You would think this would be like related to a Mortarion Nurgle story. But here we are.
I think it's more the connection to like hellfire that it's trying to draw.
Yeah.
Like just a hellish place.
That whole book's really good though. Any World Eater book is better than every other Horus Heresy book. I'm struggling through the rest. Mass infantry assaults supported by fast armor had always defined the Legion's doctrine. Now they became an end unto themselves. Strategic restraint gave way to slaughter for its own sake. At the time of Isfahan III, precise strength estimates were impossible. Though observers placed the Legion near 150,000 Astartes, well supplied, sported by the Legio Audax, and a fleet of over 60 capital ships, the World Eaters nonetheless suffered the heaviest losses of any traitor legion, with over 35,000 dead, which is due in part to their dad being who he is. But
charge that wall till there's no more wall. Yes, Daddy.
Like, you got to show honor to your sons who are willing to stand against you, okay? He's a good man. Why don't you talk about him? Many more were broken entirely, consumed by uncontrollable bloodlust, chained and removed from the battlefield, not as warriors, but as liabilities too loyal to die and too ruined to fight, which these were the Red Butchers. Like, they literally chain these guys up, and they talk about it. They're hanging in the bows of the ship. So you just hear them screaming and frothing at the mouth because they can't do anything. They want to fight, and they're just stuck there. And then once they get to a place where they're like, we need to kill some people, they're like, I'll drop a few of these guys out first.
It's a good time in the bowels of the ship with the bowels of the humans. So there are some special units that the World Eaters have. You know, they got all your classic Legion units. They got tacticals. They got devastators. They got all that stuff. But they got some special ones too. So we'll start with the Devourers. The Devourers stood as the deadliest inner circle of the 12th Legion. A warrior cadre swore not to the Legion, but to Angron alone. Whether the Primarch required protection was irrelevant. Loyalty demanded proximity. Encased in Terminator plate and armed with the most merciless weapons the Legion could forge or seize, their number was fixed at 12. Entry was purchased only in blood, by slaying a Devourer in single combat, or if one fell to an enemy through open challenge where many entered and only one lived. Let's see if I have a picture of these guys.
I have to jump in here because it's hilarious. Angron hated the Devourers. They were constantly around, but proved no point to him because in his armor he could run. The Devourers were in Terminator armor. They can't run. They can't keep up with him. So he was like, these guys are useless to me. But they would follow him to everywhere. So they walk into a room and Lorgar's there, and they walk in and Angron's talking to Lorgar, and then Lorgar's like, hi, to the Devourers, and they're like taken off guard because like, we exist.
Primarch acknowledged us.
So like they're like, oh, that like awkward guy at the party who doesn't know how to talk to other people.
Weren't they also kind of looked down on because like Angron's like, I don't need bodyguards, like I'm a freaking god of war.
He hated them. Delvaris and Karn were both invited to join, and they both turned it down.
Yeah,
and
it'd almost be a dishonor. Yeah,
because they're like,
most Primarchs, like it's an honorable position to be included in their bodyguard. You're like a trusted companion, and like, but no, not with the world leaders.
Not with them.
You're just that guy who's not fast enough to keep up with what's going on.
The next squad we have is the Rampager squads. And the Rampagers were assault formations drawn from the most violent and uncontrollable of the world eaters. Warriors who had endured the implantation of cortical berserker devices and were deemed unfit for standard line service. Some were so far gone they could only be restrained between battles, earning the name Kadere, the Butchers, or others imposed iron discipline upon their madness, mastering brutal weapons inspired by the gladiator arms of Angron's past and the savage cultures of the feral world that led the Legion's ranks. Yeah, there's some models of these guys, and yeah, they look pretty aggressive and like, yeah.
The only thing I hate is with a lot of world eaters, they do like no helmet stuff because they want to show the butcher's nails, obviously. Yeah. But like I think there might be multiple books. They're like, we're not stupid like the Space Wolves. We wear our helmets because we're not going to get shot by that guy. Like, we're not going to take a sniper shot to the face. We're going to wear our helmet. So it's funny that they do that on a lot of the minis.
Yeah.
But there's the meteor hammer.
The Rampager squad is also cool because they also are only wearing like one arm of their armor as well, so the other armor is exposed.
Exactly. Oh, dude, what?
Fucking AI is incredible nowadays. I took that one art that we loved, and I said, recolor this into a Khorne Berserker. Pretty simple fucking thing, and that's what it did with it. Like, obviously, we could get a little closer. I wish that he had some bunny ears on him, so I asked, put some bunny ears on him. And
that was your mistake. You should have used the proper name.
I should have used the proper one.
No, that's the one.
No, that's the one.
That's the one. Give me literal bunny ears.
AI is so crazy nowadays how far it's come. It's so quickly, but now we have even better artwork of that artwork. So sleep well.
That's sick. I do love that.
Fucking tight.
I still love my old world eaters though, white and blue.
All right. Next up, we have the Red Butchers. Upon the killing fields of Isvan 3, world eaters on both sides were consumed entirely, reduced to howling engines of slaughter beyond command or reason. Where such warriors were once put down, the Legion chose a crueler path. Subdued, chained, and entombed within customized Terminator armor, part warplate, part cage, they were remade by the Tech Marines into living weapons. Suspended in holds of warships screaming and thrashing, the Red Butchers were born. So yeah, exactly the group you mentioned earlier in the bowels of the ship, just using their minds.
Absolutely love it. And like, I don't know if you can, I think it's in that picture. It looks like there's like a big like ring that's like kind of locking their armor together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they keep them literally like locked in this ship. They don't even let them out. You just live in this thing.
Welded them into their suits of armor.
Yeah, just leave them there.
Like, yeah, they're very dangerous now, but at least they're slow.
We can outrun them. Yeah, they're. I think in StarCraft they actually seal their Marines into their armors too. I think they're welded in.
You mean
Well,
Warhammer
aren't they
Light?
like prisoners or something?
Yeah, they're more like recruited as inmates, but just a nice little connection. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have the Red Hand Destroyer Assault Squads. Within the 12th Legion, bearers of the Blood Hand, also called the Butcher's Mark, were not united by friendship, but by rivalry sharpened into hatred. The mark, valued above nearly all honors, signified unmatched ferocity, towering body counts, or the sanctioned slaying of a superior in single combat. Among the destroyer companies, these warriors formed the Red Hand cohorts, forever at the vanguard, howling for blood as they fought to prove themselves worthy of the stain they bore.
So I love these guys, and I wish I could remember the guy's name. There's a guy who checks on Karn a couple times in the book, who is one of these. It's like his name's like Scan or Scar or something. But when he's described, he's that jump pack assault marine, but he's in all black, and I'm like, okay, this is me, all black all the time,
Flying around the skies, chain axe and
in hand, baby. Come on.
yeah.
But yeah, I think
I don't know you very well, but yeah, I think that's you, Toasty.
I think all the legions have destroyer squads, don't they?
Yeah,
Because that's what
yeah, not all.
Abaddon's part of the destroyer squad for.
No,
Is he not? That
No, he's like a Terminator.
yeah. Well, I don't mean they're all jump pack marines. I think a destroyer squad is they're painted black. Because I think Abby's always painted black.
Yeah, no, they're part of another elite unit that paints their stuff black. The destroyer squads are like, yeah, the Justarian bodyguards of Horus.
Okay.
There are other destroyer squads that do the black thing. Some of them I think are like more geared for close quarters, and then I think some use like the really potent weaponry that's kind of forbidden, like phosphex and stuff.
Okay. So maybe that was my thing. I just
You just assumed because he was painted black that he was.
Yeah, he was automatically a destroyer to me. Okay, that's just where we're at. I go by world eater knowledge, not by anybody else. No other legion means anything.
Hey, he's like me. He must be like me.
Friend. After covering the Red Hand destroyer assault squads, we also have the destroyer squads, shunned by many legions. That this might be me actually. Hold on. Destroyers wielded weapons forbidden to most of the Imperium, sanctioned only by the Emperor's decree. Rad arms, bioalchem munitions, and the crawling horror of phosphex stained both battlefield and bearer alike. Their armor was scorched and corroded, and many brothers regarded them as tainted necessities, loathed yet indispensable when enemy defenses demanded utter annihilation. So that's what it was. The phosphex makes it black, and then so they got the black because of that. It's Abby just wanted to be okay. He's just a wannabe destroyer. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
And then we have the Triari, comprised of 5 full companies of the Legion's most formidable void warriors, masters of boarding actions and ship-killing assaults, commanded by Centurion Delvaris, which I've mentioned too many times probably, pit-fighting champion without peer. They were bound by iron oath to defend the Legion's flagship, the Conqueror, unto death, loyal not to glory, but to their own. So that was the whole fallout with Latara and him, was he's supposed to be on the ship. When they got boarded by Ultramarines, he was not on the ship.
Yo, is this bad boy Shorty right here who we're talking about? Like, he's got that sweet shield.
Yeah. So the other one I've seen, he has a breacher shield and a meteor hammer. Okay. And that's my favorite mini of him.
It seems like an awkward weapon pairing.
It is, but in my mind, it's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm not disputing that.
It might just be because it's like not seen. Like you don't see that anymore. You don't see the meteor hammer at all. Period. That's the one I saw. I love that.
Yeah,
It's one of my favorite minis I've ever seen.
Yeah, very cool. Man, there's so many sweet fucking minis. You ever just get lost in? Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the same one. That's just a back view. This guy.
I didn't know that thing was so
Look at all
long.
the junk
You
in
can
his trunk. Hold on.
Yeah, you can really fling that thing.
I'd like to see him swing that thing back.
Oh my god. All right, we'll get to the last section here. That's all their special units. We'll get to their war gear. The war gear of the World Eaters was never ornate for its own sake, but forged as a brutal extension of the warrior who bore it. In the earliest days, many legionnaires fought in studded or reinforced plate, a holdover from the War Hounds' origins and the brutal training pits that shaped them. Before standard power armor became ubiquitous, even then, their ceramite was kept plain, scarred, and functional, often bound with chains that locked weapons to gauntlets so they would never be disarmed. Chain axes became the Legion's signature, heavy-bladed and unsubtle, built to tear through armor and bone alike. Alongside chain blades, cleavers, and mono-edged knives, monomolecular, excellent, carried as a matter of habit. Every piece of World Eater war gear was chosen for close personal killing, maintained with disciplined care and worn as much as a reminder of the shared brotherhood and the inevitable slaughter as it was a tool of war. Having said that, there are definitely World Eaters who like bolt guns and heavy bolters and things that make big explosions.
100%.
They exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one World Eater commander you showed earlier with the heavy bolter, like that's one of my favorite images. Yeah, just it's always cool when you have someone with kind of like the counterintuitive example version of them.
Well,
but yeah,
that's the thing too is, and you guys have played Warhammer way longer than I have. I literally came into Warhammer like 9th edition.
But you've read a book, so we're on equal footing.
Exactly. I've read books. By read, I mean I've had it read to me through Audible. But but like in the old ones, they had these guys. Like they had heavy bolter, right? Like snipers. They had people who had more weaponry than like, oh, here's your guy with your chain axe and your bolt gun. And that's all you get.
Yeah. Just never forget the unsung bolter rounds from the back, keeping you safe.
Fucking right.
I built and am currently building a World Eaters Devastator squad and using that what's that chain gun called? Big assault cannon thing they carry. The big
Oh yeah, like the Reaper autocannon?
Yeah, whatever it's called. No, not the Reaper. I think the Reaper is the regular auto cannon. Anyways, whatever that chain gun is called. Seeing a World Eater wielding that bad boy is beauty.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, even reading the books or whatever, like they're not just out there like, I'm gonna run with this chain axe until I find somebody. It's like they're hitting cover, they're shooting, they're trying to get close before they can have an actual war.
Yeah. The bolter is a beautiful weapon too if you're a fan of blood. Like you shoot the guy and they basically explode, like sending chunks of blood and gore everywhere.
I'm gonna shout out Jax down here for being not sloppy toppy to Night Lords for a second. But he points out like that there's a squad of snipers out there who's World Eaters. There's the game I feel like now is more, all right, if we can give you your minis and you can play these minis, this is what you'll do.
Yeah.
And the lore is like, here's all this crazy shit they do.
Yeah, and like it's hard. It would be so hard, impossible to make a tabletop game with everything. I get it, but we just always got to remember those unsung bolters, man.
Can we ban Jax?
I've tried.
The sloppy toppy to Tau too. Tau, you guys are allowing this?
Yeah. What next? You're gonna talking about melee Tau? Not all Tau use ranged weapons.
Yeah. Commander Farsight, he's got that sword.
He's got a sword. Yeah. Cool.
Next up, we got the Kaderi Arsenal. Drawn from the ritual armaments of the cyber-augmetic gladiators of the brutal world upon which their blood-soaked Primarch once fought and bled. It was Angron himself who restored the Kaderi weapons to use within the ranks of the Legion. Savage and punishing to wield, the Kaderi are mastered by few, remaining largely the domain of the Rampagers, world leaders who endured the Butcher's Nails more completely than most, and who rose as champions through discipline, endurance, and shared madness.
We are the Arsenal. Yeah, I don't know what I'm Googling right now. But...
Clicking on fucking soccer stuff. I'm sorry, Liz. I'm sorry.
Corn would not approve of
I'm sorry.
soccer.
They're wearing red.
Take their skulls.
The red gold. Come on. As soon as you started clicking on soccer pics, I was gone. I'm sorry.
The Kaderi arsenal includes the beloved and often cited meteor hammer, a weighted head on a brutal length of chain. The meteor hammer was swung with pit-borne precision to crush armor and bone alike, a weapon that demanded discipline lest it kill brother as readily as foe.
Some asshole talked about this a lot today.
Yeah.
Worth it though. Like,
it is a cool weapon.
I was picturing like a thunder hammer until like I started like, oh no, okay, there's
bring back the meteor hammer. Make the meteor hammer great again.
I think the only way to make it even better though is like at the end of that you attach like a melt-a-bomb, so when you like swing it, like,
it also blows the
You can only use it once though.
There's a bunch of them chained to your side. Like, all right, just watch.
Mount a new one. Yeah. Okay. Your chain progressively gets shorter. Next up, we have the Excoriator Chain Axe. The Excoriator Chain Axe is a snarling engine of dismemberment. Its roaring teeth embodying the Legion's grim belief that a clean kill mattered less than unwavering commitment to the slaughter. That's just essentially just a big two-handed chain axe.
Hell yeah.
And they brought those back with the new Berserker kit, which I really like.
Yeah, I guess they did. Yeah.
I guess I got another one. Fine.
Twin Falx blades. Wielded as a matched pair, the Twin Falx blades carved wide hooking arcs through flesh and ceramite, favoring relentless momentum and the close-knit trust of brothers fighting shoulder to shoulder. Yeah. And then you have the Barb Hook Lash. The Barb Hook Lash tore enemies from cover and balance alike, dragging them screaming into reach. A cruel but efficient tool born of the Legion's belief that mercy had no place on the battlefield.
Not as cool as the Meteor Hammer. Okay, same concept.
So I've never seen this.
Yeah.
Bro, hold on. That's that fucking Kill Bill. Fucking
yeah. Swinging around. You do have to be Asian to wield this weapon, for a hot Asian female to really get the wha-cha! As you whip that thing around your ass to really give it the momentum of 1,000 tons.
Hell yeah.
Hold on. Before it was in Kill Bill, definitely Scorpion from Mortal Kombat was wielding.
Oh yeah, obviously. That's what it is. They just throw it so hard they throw it through breacher shields into people's chests and then pull them.
Get over here. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
There you
go.
Well,
that's okay.
And now it's cooler. Now that we figured it out.
What was I gonna say? Something about rope darts, but I forgot.
Superior to all other weapons because you can kick it at people.
Yeah, must be.
Cool. Well, goddamn, that's what we had for our notes, man. The World Eaters, they're so cool, man. They always have been. After doing these episodes, they really bumped up. Like, I think they're my favorite Traitor Legion now. I've almost decided on my favorite Loyalist Legion, but I think I got to finish, and I won't talk about that yet. But yeah, the World Eaters, nah, fuck them. World Eaters, man, they're so sweet. I just keep looking at this one AI redone of like, oh man, so cool.
That is sick. That's a sick ass looking photo.
Yeah, man. I think what I like about them is like they don't feel like they're very one-dimensional, don't get me wrong, but they seem believable in their one-dimensionality. Like sometimes it's just like, how do we have these stupid fucking demigods that are getting all bickering and stupid and like, come on, grow the fuck up. Like, what are we doing here? We're trying to conquer a galaxy. But like with the World Eaters, like they've had so many things against them from day one, even like just the gene seed. It's rumored to have already been corrupted by corn and have like an added element of bloodlust in it. Like, yeah, they just seem fun and believable, and I don't know, not relatable. I'm not a very violent guy, but they're fucking cool.
Me either, but that makes them so much cooler. Like you just think about your life and think about all the people you should have punched in the face and you didn't as a person.
It's a long list, isn't it?
Yeah, like there's just people you're like, if I just would have socked that dude right then, like what would he have done?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. What a way to look at life, hey?
Like if you had the butcher's nails, there wouldn't have been that decision. You'd have been like, I'm getting my bananas.
Man.
What
Be a
this guy
banana
said to
and
me?
your rice.
And then you're fucking socking somebody. Like there's no in between. There's no thought process of being like, I shouldn't do that because cops, or I shouldn't do that because like that's not nice to punch somebody in the face.
So maybe it's not honorable enough. Maybe you got to invite them to the gladiatorial pit first, and then
I'll let somebody
Ritual
know.
combat. Yeah.
Or challenge them next time I'm a Kroger.
We learned in the Angron episode that we should forgive people, and in the World Leaders episode, we learned that more problems might be solved quicker if you just punch them.
Damn straight.
yeah, fuck, I like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
I wasn't
You
there for
guys-
the World Eater or the Angron episode that was about forgiveness, okay? Because I would have disputed this 100%.
I don't know, man. You got to listen to him and then get back to me. James had some fucking fun points for sure. He really changed my view on some of it. Like, it's not like he was talking. You just got to listen to it. I don't want to rehash it. And we're already going long on this episode, but yeah.
He's spitting facts.
Yeah. Cool. You guys got any other closing thoughts there on the World Eaters before we close out the show?
Best Legion.
Best Legion.
From front to back.
Especially from the back.
But yeah, it's as Mark fucking proved. Saw fucking Delvaris from the back. He was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You can swing that meteor hammer at me anytime.
Fun fact, that's my nickname in prison.
Christian's adult film name. Meteor hammer.
Meteor.
It's
But
spelled
meteor is spelled
though, like
meteor. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's probably a good place to cut it.
Probably. Well, if you want to buy World Eaters, go to Merlin's Miniatures. Use promo code Lorehammer. You can get yourself a discount or something. I don't even know how that works, but I know some people order through them, and I get a little kickback of coins. So go check them out, and there's links in the description below. But Merlin's Miniatures, promo code Lorehammer. Also, come check out Lorehammer Listen to podcast. I don't really record that often on there, but there's like almost 200 episodes out, so there's plenty there for you to listen to.
And if you like the world of Star Wars, come listen to me and Jordan wax poetic about Star Wars. No, about Star Wars on the Star Wars podcast. Yeah. That's Lores with an L.
And then if you're ever interested in listening to me drunkenly play video games, Saturday nights I usually stream on Vengeful Toasty Toast, usually on Twitch. Every once in a while I'll hit kick. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I think I'm on Twitter.
Cool.
Yeah,
Are you
Halo
playing
Grinder.
any cool game right now? Halo Grinder.
Right, dude, I go. Dude, I can't remember the fucking game. Hold on. I hit my big ones right now are Space Marine 2, Battlefield 6, I think is the one I'm playing right now.
Cool.
I plan on jumping some on Arc Raiders.
I hadn't played Space Marine 2 since it basically came out, but I hopped on there the other night, like after a year of not playing it. There's a bunch more missions and all the updates, so I'm gonna fucking dive into some more.
They're
stuff.
bringing Tech Marines to it too now, bud.
I hear that, yeah. It's fun when you don't play a game for a year nowadays, and like, yeah, it's a whole almost new game. So. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Next episode will be the World Eaters in the 40K Legion era. Believe it or not, they become pacifists. So I'm excited to see how that transformation happens. But you have to stay and pay attention to the next episode. So see you
Cuddle
later.
bunnies.
They became the cuddle bunnies, as we seen with the picture. All right, everyone. You guys have yourself a good night.
Peace.